got no blood left, replaced with vibration. Gonna rearrange the alphabet. I'll explain it later, cause I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Well, I can see right through time and space, immortal on this 100,000 gigawatt roller coaster. I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Yeah, we're all jacked up. We're all jacked up. Yeah, we're all jacked up. Yeah, we're all jacked up. 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 Well, I'm feeling kind of squirrely. I'm sitting on go. I'm 100 amp fuse that's about to blow. I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Well, I'm ticking like a bomb right before the explosion. Strapped in, wild-eyed, locked and loaded. I'm all jacked up. I'm all jacked up. I got no blood left, replaced with vibration. Gonna rearrange the alphabet. I'll explain it later, cause I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Well, I can see right through time and space, immortal on this 100,000 gigawatt roller coaster. I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Yeah, I'm all jacked up. Yeah, we're all jacked up. We're all jacked up. Yeah, we're all jacked up. Yeah, we're all jacked up. 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 All jacked up.
Hello, and welcome to the Warren County Sports Authority here at Studio 605. I am your host, Jeff Simmons. As always on Wednesday night, joined by Coach Chris Sullins. Coach, how you doing, man?
Coach tonight again.
Just Sullins.
Take that title away, brother.
Yeah, just Sullins, but I will say that we are missing one here on the table.
Yes.
We have Trevor Evans, who will not be with us tonight. We're not going to go a lot into any of that. Just going to say thoughts are with
Thoughts
Trev.
and prayers are with Trev and the family at the moment.
Yep, and hopefully we see him very, very soon. So we had to we've been teasing it for a couple of weeks.
We've been teasing. This has been one I've been waiting on like 3 decades.
Yeah, and again, we're just never going to slow down here on the Warren County Sports Authority, which is presented by Prater's Barbecue. Where Coach, where's that at?
That's out there on the right.
Out there on the
in
right.
Morrison.
Yeah.
Think we're going to be out there a little bit later.
Probably going to do that. When
Yeah.
you're hungry for championship caliber barbecue, there's only one place to go. That is Prater's Barbecue. Prater's has been serving up the flavors Warren County loves for years, I would say. You've been to Prater's.
Coach Sloan has been to Prater.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, hey, whether you're grabbing lunch, feeding the family, getting that, that pork loin, that I'm sure Trev still has.
Trev had it flown in today from Nashville. Gary come by,
Yeah,
choppered it in.
Hey, if you're catering the next big event, make it Prater's Barbecue. Proudly serving Warren County. Proudly presenting the Warren County Sports Authority, where we have Coach Bobby Luna in studio.
He's got the little Morrison colors on.
Yeah, he's good.
That's right.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's a green. Coach, man, thank you so much for
Yes,
coming in.
sir.
I know that everybody's been looking forward to this. Had people talking about it for weeks, and finally going to make it happen. So, I mean, welcome back to Warren County.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. I come back to Warren County quite often,
Yeah.
actually. I still have my stepmother and stepbrother still live here, and my mother-in-law is still in Rock Island, Midway. So we make the trip to Warren County about once every 2 or 3 weeks. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen you you in and around town a lot, and again too. But I know, as Coach has said, that that it means a lot.
Well, this one means a
So
lot.
I'm going to let you go.
This
Introduce
one,
the man.
This means a lot. Started, we talked about like the 1990-91 season. Got the first head coaching job, his first head coaching job at Warren County. I think stayed here 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
I got 90 wins. That was something that I was trying to reach. I did not do that in a 5-year period. Then went to Gallatin. Pretty much the rest is history. I mean, when the court's named after you, you've had a pretty good run when it comes to coaching. And I will say this. When I went and watched the night that they dedicated the court to him and his family was there, a great event. There's 2 things that I want to bring up. People have always asked, why didn't you go play Gallatin?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to get beat by him. That'd be the first one. And the other one was, if you were going to go to Gallatin and watch a basketball game from Warren County, you need to leave about 12, okay? Because 109 gets pretty crowded around about 6 o'clock. But the one thing I can say, I think it was dedicated to you 2 years ago. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
He was the same guy as the first night I watched him coach when I was a senior. He's still fiery, still gets after it, still demands total respect from his players. His players have total respect for him. And now that he's been in it, he is kind of like with Coach Rankin. When he speaks, a lot of coaches listen.
600 wins and counting for Coach Bobby Luna in the state of Tennessee. And, I mean, just an impressive and incredible resume that you put together. And, of course, a lot of people remember you still very fondly in Warren County, including coaches that follow behind you who are always thinking we have to chase what those teams did. I guess we usually start the show off with the last week rewind, but we can move some stuff
He may be
around.
involved a little bit in last week rewind because he's had a wife that was very involved in the dance team down there that I think went through the Pioneerettes.
Yeah.
It was kind of it was role reversal. Like I learned from him and his wife learned from Patty. So, we can probably go into that just a little bit.
Yeah, we might get into that. Well, I'll tell you who sponsors last week rewind, and that is Blue Line Lawn Care and Pressure Washing. When you want your property looking the best, call the team at Blue Line Lawn Care and Pressure Washing. From routine lawn maintenance to pressure washing your home, driveway, sidewalks, and business, Blue Line delivers dependable service with free estimates for both residential and commercial customers. Licensed, insured, and proudly serving Warren County since 2020. They're ready to help you get your property looking first class. Give Blue Line Lawn Care and Pressure Washing a call today, 931-808-3427. Proud supporters of the Warren County Sports Authority and Warren County's athletes. Yeah, we've had this line last week, Patty Clark. A few weeks before that, Gary Rankin. Now we have Coach Luna. And I'm going to actually say we can take last week rewind and change it to let's do a little bit of VHS rewinding. When you put, did you ever have the actual rewinder you would go by?
Oh,
that you could put it in there and it would like, zap it through?
Yeah.
So let's rewind this back to 1990. Let's rewind it back to getting into Warren County when you were a 25?
I was 25 when I was hired, and 26 by the time we coached the first game.
Yeah, and told right before the show that maybe he had looked for some jobs.
Yeah. One right up the road said nada.
I did.
They said, Coffee County said, we're who?
We're good.
Who's Bobby Luna? And Warren County says, You're hired.
Yep.
I mean, what was it like taking that job at 25, 26 years
Well-
old and stepping onto the sidelines?
Well, I was at Austin P for 5 years with Coach Lake Kelly. Rick Stansberry was there also, and had a great time there. And basketball took me a lot of places. When I finished with graduate school and got my master's, it was time to get a real job. So my first job I applied for was actually in Coffee County.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get an interview. And that was coming out of I guess the 1993-94 season.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next year, the Warren County job came open, and there were a lot of people that had applied, and I really didn't know that I would have a chance at it, but I was able to get to the interview process, and I was fortunate that Ron Martin and Bentley Rowden was the principal at that time. I was able, to get hired. I was going to come in and save the world at the age of 25.
Obviously.
Which I found out I probably wasn't ready to do at the age of 25. I probably, I thought, and I've told people this a lot, I thought I was going to teach a lot, and I think I learned a lot in that first year of coaching basketball. But I was fortunate that, survived it, loved my time, and was able to continue to go on. And we had a good run, over the last 4 years there at Warren County. We had 4 straight 20-win seasons. But, I learned so many things here, and the people of Warren County were so good to me. I still have a lot of friends in this community. I grew up a little bit in this community before I transferred to Van Buren County High School, but learned a lot and was able to turn that into, I did get the job at Warren County. And by the way, the ironic part of that was that Bentley Rowden left Warren County to go to Gallatin, but he left just before I took the job, and I was hired by Mr. Benny Bills at Gallatin High School.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, a little bit, he started laying the groundwork maybe at Gallatin there.
Yeah.
We've rewound it a little bit for Coach Luna.
Yeah.
Let's rewind it to the same part for you, because I was probably playing on the playgrounds over at West Elementary at that time, breaking my leg, on the monkey bars, whatever. But you were around. You were involved.
I've told this story a couple times, probably
Yeah.
a couple times, early on the show.
Yeah.
I've always said when you're playing high school athletics, a coaching change as a senior is tough. But especially when the coach that you had is still in the building and he gave you an opportunity. And when he resigned, it was tough for me because as you're going in, and there's some seniors that are starting school back today, they've already got their senior year laid out.
Yep.
And that kind of blew up pretty quickly, okay? And then we didn't have a lot of technology. There wasn't Coach T or WCSA. So we had no idea who was going to be the new basketball coach. Right. Coach Luna says, hey, there's a lot of people that applied. I couldn't tell you 3 guys that applied because it just wasn't something that was out there. There wasn't that kind of information. The first time I ever met him or actually saw him was in the paper, the Southern Standards. There's a picture, and I could be wrong, Coach, but there's a picture of you and Ron Martin shaking hands with a basketball.
Yes.
And I'm like, who's this guy? That being said, within about 2 to 3 days of when we met, I realized he was going to take the program in a direction that probably it hadn't been in quite, I don't want to say quite some time, but he had some large ideas. He brought the AAU I don't want to say circuit, but teams to all our age groups. He was young, fiery. He's 25 years old, and I've always said that's one of the most impressive things is when you're 25 years old. I don't know if you're equipped. I've said it many times. There's no way I've been equipped to run a 3 or 4A basketball program.
No.
He was. It took him about a year to get his feet wet, and then the rest is history because he's just been pretty darn successful.
Yeah, Coach Kyle was in here a few weeks ago as well, and we had the story told on that show that it was like maybe the first day. And we maybe got a little bit embellished about whether or not it was a bloody nose or just a cut or something like that. But very first day, what was the first day like when you showed up in Warren County, when you were in practice in Warren County? What was that? You just said it. It only took you 2 or 3 days to get it rolling like that. But for you, those first impressions of now you got the job,
right?
Now you got to go meet the talent.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That first year, a lot of talent, boys. A lot of talent.
What was that like, and what was it like getting everything ready to roll?
Well, first of all, I was really excited. You know, at the age of 25, I had been fortunate. I had sat on the bench at Austin Peay, able to work with Coach Kelly, and he had, you know, given me a little bit of responsibility at that time. So I got to do some scouting, got to do some practice work, you know, got to do some things on the floor. So I was excited, and like I say, you talk about not being equipped at the age of 25. I thought I knew it. I thought I had all the answers. And so when I came in, you know, the first thing I wanted to do was establish that I was the man in charge. You know, because I was only 7 years older than some of those guys that were playing, you know. And as a matter of fact, great story, I got stopped walking down the hallway of Warren County Senior High School and asked for a hall pass. And I said, no, ma'am, I teach here. And it was one of my former teachers also, because I attended Warren County Senior High through my sophomore year. So, but I wanted to establish that I was in charge. And the one thing, you know, coming from Austin Peay, Coach Kelly was great about how hard his teams played. He was a monitor about effort, and if you didn't play hard, you didn't play. Yeah. And so that was the very first thing that I wanted to establish. The offenses that we ran were fairly simple. We were basic defensively. We were going to play man-to-man. We were going to try to guard you as hard as we could, be physical if we could. And so a lot of what we were doing was just toughness, you know. Can you play hard? Can you do those things? But, you know, as far as evaluating talent, I probably wasn't equipped to do that at that time, except I could look at these guys and say, hey, these guys are better than those guys, so these guys are going to play. Now, coming in, you know, and Coach Sullins talks about the seniors, you know, you certainly want to treat all those players with respect because they've already gone through it. They've earned their time. We probably picked up a few extra players, you know, just trying to be open, you know, to give everybody the opportunity to play. You know, I probably made some mistakes along the way. I may have had some guys who really weren't equipped, didn't have the background to play, but I think we had pretty large numbers that first year. But I learned as we went along, you know, we knew who the best players were, who gave us the best opportunity to compete. We lost quite a few close games that first year. It was tough. Some of it might have been, you know, that I wasn't equipped to handle, you know, late game situations as a head coach. I may have thought I was, but I probably wasn't. I didn't have the experience that I do now. But, you know, we lost a lot of close games. And as a matter of fact, we lost our first 6 games of the season. We were 0-6 before we won. Our first win was against Coffee County, who we played 4 times that year. By the way, I did not set that schedule. I inherited that schedule. I looked at it and I said, we have 3 regular season games against Coffee County, and we're playing in Coffee County's Christmas tournament. Wow, we must really like to go to Coffee County. But anyway, so we had a great relationship with Coffee County by the end of the year, and I did get my first win against Coffee County. So, but it was great. It was a great learning experience. I can look back on it now and realize it was a learning experience. Yeah. At that time, I didn't realize that's what it was.
Yeah, it was all, and a little bit extra special. Yeah. I can get an interview. You got first win. Take me back, you know, Coach. I mean, we're talking about 35 years now that who were those guys? I mean, we know you were in there. Who were some of those names? Let's take people in the Wayback Machine. We're in the rewind already. Who are some of those guys that y'all?
It's funny because his memory is pretty much just like mine when it comes to this. When he walked in the door. Not that when tryouts happened when you were a sophomore, junior, and we talked about this, it was only a 3-year high school. So freshmen were nowhere around.
Right.
So, but when we tried out as sophomores and juniors, there wasn't large numbers. I mean, I don't want to say that kids kind of knew how it was going to work. That's not in no way, shape, form, or fashion. But Coach Luna's first year, I think, was a little bit like mine in this aspect. We had like 80 kids try out. Yep. And he brought a lot of different backgrounds to the basketball team. In fact, I'm looking around as senior and I'm like, who the hell are some of these guys? I've not seen them. But he brought some of the best athletes. Barry Dillard, Jerome Dillard, some of those guys came out and played. He brought a kid back, Brad Pepper, came back and played with us. Right. Had a kid, J.B. Carter. But here's where I knew he brought a lot of young kids. And I started understanding he's trying to build a program. And my time was only going to be, when I say I only had him for a year, well, when he walks in June, basketball season's over in February. Yeah. It's a 6 or 7 month deal. But I understood with the George Olesics, the Robbie Francis, the Jason Mulligans, the Chad Fosters. There was a group, a nucleus there that was going to be pretty good in about 24 months.
Yep.
It just wasn't going to be the 6 months that I was around. And he was open and honest with all of us. You had to play hard. He was in charge. There's no doubt about that. He was in charge. But one thing that I remember vividly, he would look you in the eye and tell you what he really thought. And you may not like it, but he wasn't going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
He did that to me. You know what? I learned it when I got into coaching. That's why you need to treat kids, regardless, right, wrong, or indifferent. You need to look them in the eye and say, "This is what your role is." I think when they look back, they will look back at it more favorably than trying to sugarcoat something. When, as a coach, you know that's not how it needs to be.
It's amazing going back and looking into how that all went. It has to be a tough feeling when you're sitting there realizing the dynasty's starting after me. It doesn't start with you; it's starting after you.
It is, because he just made that comment.
Yeah.
They had 4 straight 20-win seasons. You heard me talk about that when I was coaching.
Yeah,
he was the standard bearer.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what he did. This is what, if we can get to this level, we've had a pretty good run. He was here 5 years. And he had 4 straight 20-win seasons. The first year, we lost a lot of close games.
Yeah.
But we did set a tempo of I knew that they were going to be pretty good in years to come.
I keep hearing that, and that becomes a common refrain, and we could get a little bit into that with the roots for success that we're starting to be planning. Before we do that, let's go to the Ben Lomond Connect message board, where again we have Ben Lomond Connect delivering that internet, coach.
At the speed of light.
Thank you, appreciate that. Trevor Evans did check in, said pork loin was dropped off on the helipad. Shout out, Gary. Diamond Classics chimed in, said love the show, guys. Hey, thank you, Diamond Classics. Hey, anytime you want to call and be a part of the show, let us know.
Away diamonds any day.
Kelly Walker Slaughter says go Green Bay. So, I think that was to you.
Yeah.
And proud of my Coach Luna. Offered him a job once, says James Bennett. We're going to get
Yes, he
there.
did.
We're going to get there. We're going to have a little bit of conversation on that one. And Don Lowry pointing out a little bit of her. We're going to get into that one with the Roots for Success, but tell you who sponsors that is Circle J Tree Farms. Roots for Success, just like the strongest trees don't grow overnight, neither do great athletes. This segment shines a spotlight on the players, coaches, and teams whose hard work, commitment, and perseverance are paying off. Here are this week's Circle J Tree Farm Roots for Success. Don Lowry's pointing it up in the comment section, says, since you were in the rewind, and how about some 1980s stories? Seriously proud of Bobby, who accomplished so much since he was playing those days back among the wooded mountains. And he will get that in the alma mater reference. You mentioned this.
Right.
At Warren County, Van Buren County. What was it like building your own basketball background and developing your own roots for success? Because you made, there was the path wasn't straight up like the tree would like before. Sometimes the branches branched out quickly.
There's a lot of different parts to this story. I mean, it can go all day.
One camera.
No, I won't give them all. I'm
Here's
just saying.
the rant, boys.
Hey, there's some funny parts to it and some interesting parts to it.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't fortunate enough to make the basketball team in Warren County. At the time that I was trying out to play, Russ Spivey would have been a player. Tim Deason, probably Todd Wilmore, Randall Robinson. They had a pretty good basketball team. They didn't need me at 5'6" and very unathletic, and I probably wasn't as skilled as those guys. So I was fortunate, and this will be I'm going to tell the story because I'm ashamed of nothing, proud of everything. I was working at Golden Corral Steakhouse as a dishwasher at the end of my sophomore year because I hadn't made the basketball team as a freshman or sophomore. And my father was at the Moose Lodge for a dance. My brother was a musician. He was probably playing in the band that night. But anyway, I am at work at Golden Corral Steakhouse, and the phone rings, and it's my dad calling the manager, and he says, hey, I need my son to come to the Moose Lodge. I'm 16, so I don't know how I was going to get in. But anyway, he says, I want you to come out here and talk to a basketball coach. And I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to get off from work. He said, I've already talked to the boss. You can leave. He said, we've got that covered. So I went to the Moose Lodge and met Elon Martin from Van Buren County. And this was probably about a week to 10 days before school was starting, which would have been my junior year. And, so I talked to him, and he said, hey, you have no athletic record. If you want to come up and we'll give you a tryout and we'll see what goes on. And so I went up, and there was a guy in the gym, and he may be listening. His name's Kenny DeLon, who is now president, I believe, of Citizens Tri-County Bank in Spencer. And we played a little one-on-one. Kenny's about 6'7". I was about 5'6". But anyway, we were the same age at that time, but Kenny was nice enough, I guess, to at least let me stay in the game. So he could have beat me as bad as he wanted to, but he let me stay in the game. So after that one-on-one tryout or whatever, Coach Martin said, hey, if you want to come to Van Buren County, you know, I was going to drive every day from Van Buren Street here in McMinnville. So I enrolled at Van Buren County High School, and I was eligible to play because I did not have an athletic record. I was blessed and fortunate. I played on 2 great teams the 2 years I was there. Tracy Curtis was there at that time, Kenny DeLon. So we were, for a single A school, we were really big. Both those guys about 6'7". David Earl Swindle, before the three-point line, could shoot it from deep. Was a really good player. So, you know, I was blessed to play with a lot of talent at that time, and we had 2 very successful seasons. Coach Martin had won over 600 games, or he may have won his 600th game in those 2 years that I was there. But, you know, I guess it goes back to my dad not allowing me to give up on the things that I had wanted to do. So, and, you know, and it's good sometimes when you have parents to push you. I'd gotten to the point I was almost done with it. I probably would not have tried out at Warren County again as a junior, but it just kind of fell out, you know, that I had that opportunity. And, you know, and it, I tell a lot of people that, you know, my life changed because of those 2 years that I went to Van Buren County and played basketball, because, you know, that led me into following Kenny DeLon to Roane State Community College, which is where I started coaching. Again, wasn't good enough to play, so I worked as a student assistant coach for Mr. Carroll Smith, or Coach Carroll Smith, at Roane State for 2 years before turning that into going to Austin Peay and doing the same thing. So, so I tell everybody, you know, my players, I say, look, I was recruited. It just wasn't on the basketball court where I was recruited from.
When you bring that up, the transfer portal stuff, we're going to get into that. But I mean, with kids changing schools and all those type of things, how frequently did that happen back during that time? I mean, because you're bringing something up that I don't think I've heard. I didn't know that story. Yeah. I knew the story, but I didn't know book, chapter, and verse of how it happened.
I'm gonna start hanging out with the Moose
how many kids, how many student athletes were doing that back during that time? Was that an odd deal for you, for not only you, for a lot of people?
It was a pretty odd deal. I knew one other person around that same time who had gone to DeKalb County to play baseball, who had grown up in the Warren County area, but I didn't know anybody else. The big thing that was going on at that time were students staying back a grade. We played Clay County at that time, and they were really good with Joey Coe, Jeff Arms, and they had a set of twins, the Reeser twins. I think it was Dwayne and Daryl, and they had both stayed back. And I promise they both had a beard as good as yours when they were in high school. And that was the only team that we never beat that was in our district at that time. But I was like, okay, these guys are like 19, 20, I don't know, but I knew they'd stayed back here, but they were really good. And so I think that was a little bit more going on. And I stayed back in the 7th grade. I was very small for my age. I did the 7th grade twice at Dibble. We had to go before the board here in Warren County to do that in hopes of enhancing my chance. The first time that I got cut was actually at Southside as a 7th grader. So that was the first time. So I knew then, okay, I'm going to struggle at the bigger school. So I went back to Dibble and played a couple of years and did the 7th grade twice. Fortunate to be there. You know, a lot of good friends from that area. But that was a little more popular at that time. It goes on a little bit now, but the TWSAA has more standard rules about if you stay back at a certain point, then you're going to miss another year somewhere else. But you know, I was 5'7", weighed 125 pounds. I was the oldest person in my graduating class at Van Buren County. I turned 19 about 2 weeks after graduation.
Oh, okay. Well, Don Lowry Wanamaker in the comment section, BLC comment message board, saying there might be a little bit more to the Van Buren County story here. Says, and they beat Warren County with him as point guard. The little Jim and Spencer almost shattered.
Warren County's really struggled in Spencer's gym over the years. You know what I mean?
Warren County, the team. Warren County players,
pretty
good at Van Buren County.
The team's not so much.
If you root for success in Warren County, it ended up in Van Buren. But
so that game took place when you were a senior. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We played Warren County 4 times, two
Okay.
2 times each year. When I was a junior, we played Warren County both places. They had beaten us in Warren County earlier in the year. We played them in Van Buren County. We won that game. Teammates played great. I had played okay. I did my job. I was a point guard. Get the ball across midcourt, distribute it to the guys that could play, and I did. So just a good team win. You know, the gym was small. This was before the new school.
Yep.
It was loud, and I think it was about 110 degrees in there that night, but it was loud. Great game, and we won. As a senior, Warren County beat us in Spencer, and we were fortunate that we won at Warren County in the old, I called it the junior high gym. I think it's Bobby Ray Elementary now. That was the night that I probably played my best basketball game as a high school player. Maybe had 25, 26, 27. Was in a couple of situations that were really important. That game went into overtime. We scored 1 point. Kenny Baker made a free throw on our first possession. It was a 4-minute overtime, I think. And Warren County held the ball for the final shot. The next day, there was an article in the newspaper written by Sherry Vaughn. And she, at that time, I already knew that I was going to Roan State as an assistant coach to follow Kenny DeLon. But, you know, there was an article, really nice article, about, you know, that game and the fact that my teammates, David Earl Swindle, Tracy Curtis, some of those guys, they knew my story, and they carried me off the court, which, you know, it's really nice that I was a little embarrassed, but it was nice, and, you know, I was proud. Great crowd from Van Buren County that night. I know they were proud, you know, but, you know, I still have a lot of friends that were on that Warren County team, but they did carry me off the court. Probably the best game that I played. I think I just kind of played with a nothing to lose attitude. I made some shots that I probably don't normally make. I probably made more free throws than I normally make. So I probably played over my head for that one game. But it was a great night, and you know, you know, it's a good basketball story.
Wow. Yeah. Carried out of the Bobby Ray. I mean, he's the,
as an opposing
as a
player.
player too. Well, I mean, he's already hit on some of the things to me that, I mean, you talk about roots for success, or you just talk about Warren County basketball, and he's talking Southside.
Yeah.
The old, we're not talking about the new Dipper. We're talking about the old Dipper.
Yep.
Talking about the Bobby Rage. I mean, there are some legendary moments and all that. You, I mean, follow ups on any of that, because that's an amazing issue. And Sherry Vaughn even.
You had made the comment that
fast.
you were at Golden Corral. Your dad makes the call, and you got to leave.
Yep.
I mean, and you say, hey, if this doesn't transpire, I'm pretty much giving up on basketball.
Right.
How hard had you worked, and how disappointed? Disappointed maybe is not the right choice of words.
Yep.
This is really, because I was kind of the same way. I really wanted to play high school basketball.
Right.
How hard was it in those 2 years when you're sitting there going, I may not get the opportunity? Because I think a lot of kids need to hear this. You hear a lot of kids, you know, it doesn't go right in the 7th and 8th grade, and they give up on a dream. Now there's a lot of opportunities for kids out there. You kind of led the way in that.
Yep.
How hard was it, and how gratifying at the end of it?
It was hard. It was disappointing because, you know, as a teenager, you're just trying to find your way. I'd played sports. My dad had played sports. You know, he went to school at McMinnville Central, which was, I think, now Bobby Ray Elementary. So he had attended school there and played for some legends, Jimmy Earl, John Brock, and those people. So, you know, I was trying to find my way, and I was disappointed and had almost, you know, like I said, had almost given up. So my dad was the greatest influence in that he kept pushing me and found another opportunity for me. The difference was, at that time, there was no place to go prove yourself. I didn't hear about AAU basketball until I was in college. I don't think many people in this area were playing. And so there wasn't, you could go get on a travel team like are available now, or you could go get, you know, even the rec league teams at that point. There were, you know, rec league teams, but they weren't, you know, probably as competitive as, you know, as some other leagues. So there wasn't a place to go prove yourself. My biggest disappointment was that I was so, you know, I was so far away from making the team. I never made it past the first day of tryouts. I never had a second day of tryouts. And again, you know, as a coach, I've done those things, and I know how hard it is to make that call. But, again, Warren County had a good basketball team at that time. There were some really good players. So I have never said I should have made that team, not necessarily. I just didn't fit on that particular team. And then I was fortunate to get to play, at a school that was ready-made minus a point guard. I fit that position, and, and those guys all took me in, and, and like I say, Kenny probably lets me play, to his level just so I look like I'm a little bit better player than I am. Yeah. And, the rest is history. But, perseverance as an individual player, as a basketball coach, as a team, you just got to stay after it, and you keep knocking on that door, and eventually it'll open. So I was fortunate.
It's wild that he says that, because when he's talking about that, Coach Sullivan and I, we have a great relationship.
I assumed that Coach Sullivan was his coach.
Yeah, he's been there a while. But Dustin and I, there's been many times we've had, and I want to ask Coach Luna with this, because there's a lot of schools in Sumner County.
Right.
They're a 4A basketball program, a lot of smaller schools. Mm-hmm. I have told some young men that tried out for our basketball team, right. When you got the CJs and the Graysons, there's only so many spots.
Right.
Have you ever looked at some young men and say, I know how bad you want to play. Gallatin may not be the place for you, but I will put in a good word for you at another location. Is that something that you have done in the past, because you've looked and said, hey, that's a kid that looks like me, not looks like me, but right. I can see he really wants to play?
I probably have never directly said, hey, you could go to that, to this school and have a chance. I've had some players come to me, or persons who did not make the team, and say, what do you think about if I go to this school? And I've encouraged them to do that, talked with their parents and said, I think that's a good fit. I've had players that were on my team but were not getting playing time to go to other schools, smaller schools, playing in smaller classifications, and they did well. I've had, some players who did not make our team go to other schools, some in the county, some out of the county, just like I did, and make the team and do fine. And, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's the positive part of the transfer rule. If you're playing in a large class, and I've had classes with 8 seniors. I'm sure you had classes with large groups of seniors. But there's not, you can only play 5 at a time. Yeah. And I say this, and, football is a unique sport because you play 11 players at a time. And technically you have 88 starters, because you have the punt team, the kickoff team, the return team, the receiving team. So technically, a lot of players go, I'm starting. I'm on the kickoff team, but I'm starting. So it's not that way in basketball.
Chick-fil-A team.
Yeah, there you go. The Chick-fil-A team. I heard that. I heard all about that. Yeah, and that's great, because that's how you can keep people involved. You find them a place. I mean, I've heard of college coaches that, their kickoff team was entirely walk. So, those are great things. And so, there's a lot of ways to do this. But, yeah, I've encouraged kids, that have come to me and asked, hey, can I do this? What do you think my chances are? And I've encouraged them. I said, I think you need to explore that, because I think that's the best thing for you personally.
Hey, y'all are speaking my language right now. You already know.
Yeah,
you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, so, yeah, encourage them all. Yeah, there's some small schools out there for you. Hey, again, that is the Circle J Tree Farm. Roots for Success, where you can contact Jeff Jones at 934-3177. While we're Roots for Success, I feel like that just naturally leads us into a little bit of under construction when it comes to that. So if you're looking to build your dream home in Warren County, Ryan Lawrence Custom Homes is the premier choice for quality craftsmanship and attention to detail. Whether you're starting from the ground up or bringing visions to life, Ryan delivers homes built to last. You can give him a call today, 931-259-0023, and start building something truly yours. Y'all both brought this up. Danny Fish is in the comment section right now in the Ben Lomond Connect message board. It says, always great to hear stories from Coach Luna. Teams are always fierce competitors, and well-coached, has been a great steward of high school basketball in the state of Tennessee. The first year you're here, those close losses, you told this story. Danny Fish's first year here, where they get to Christmas break and everybody's thinking, what has happened? And then all of a sudden they turn it on. When you're in that first year under construction, what is it like to be in, knowing that it matters for these games to matter? Because you can lose, and you can lose by 30. and you're losing, and you're gaining nothing. At least when you're in every single game, it does seem like you're building you're constructing something. You hope turns
I like
into
to
what
know
it
what
happens.
Coach Luna when he got here, because we've talked about how I looked at that. When you got here, no doubt you taught us we had to play hard,
Yeah.
but you knew, and I've talked about our first year. No coach goes in and says, "Hey, we're going to lose a lot of games,"
Right.
but you look back years later and said we didn't really have the talent to win a lot of basketball games when it came to close, when games were close. How did you? Because you did keep us motivated. How did you do that? And when you got to Gallatin, how did you start that and continue that?
Well, however it came about when I first got to Warren County, I think I referred to our team a lot that year as the first step. There was two parts to that. One, I wanted the seniors to be bought in. I wanted them to know that what they were doing matters. You're laying the groundwork. But at the same time, I wanted the underclassmen who were coming back to know this is a step. This is not where we're going to stay. We want to go further and we want to be better. So I said that a lot. Hey, you guys are the first step. I'm going to treat the seniors with respect. I'm going to play you as much as I can and as much as you deserve. Creating a culture, in this case, the culture I was trying to create was discipline of being there, being on time, showing up every day when you're supposed to, and the culture of effort. Because I felt like if we played hard, one, we're going to represent our school and our team and our coaches and our players well. It would be something we're going to be proud of, whether we win or lose. But, just kind of creating that culture. I didn't know, I wasn't 100% sure that, we would get to where we got to. But we wanted to work hard enough to get there. But I think that every coach coming in, you've got to set what your culture is, whatever it is. It doesn't, have to be that, I think you can play basketball, football, a lot of sports, a lot of different ways. For me, it was, we're going to play hard. We're going to play man-to-man defense. That's what I knew. I couldn't go and be a zone coach. I didn't know anything about zone. I'd spent 5 years at Austin P with Lake Kelly, and we never played anything other than half-court man-to-man. So that's what I knew. So that's where we started. But, just getting the culture set that first year, I thought was really important.
And when it comes to, dealing with talent, and I think we talk about this a lot, dealing with talent, is you, and Coach Sullins has brought this up, you deal with everybody the exact same way. What happens when you have to deal with, like, say, a baseball state champion MVP type player that might not have done exactly what we have to do? What kind? When we're constructing a program, everybody's got to be held accountable the same way. Any info on that?
I was wondering if he would know, but it's by his face, he knows exactly the story we're talking about.
I got a feeling I know.
Yeah.
We had a player our first year who's a coach now.
Yeah.
Who I've talked to a few times.
Yeah.
But it just strong-willed. Saw things a different way from the way that I saw them and the assistant coaches saw them. And sometimes you're being tested as a coach. At the age of 25, you're being tested, and there were other ways that group tested me also. Technical fouls were an issue for that team, so learned a valuable lesson on that. But just didn't finish the season. Wasn't a lot of season left, but didn't finish the season. I had to take a stand. We had to take a stand. It worked out, not by my doing necessarily, but. An assistant coach kind of bridged that gap, and player came back, and so got back on the good graces going into the next year, and had a pretty good career.
Had a pretty good career.
Had a pretty good career. Yeah, it was a really good player,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's it's a test, and. Hey, I had a school in service today, and one of the things we talked about was, hey, the students that test you the most might be the ones who need you the most. And looking back on that, maybe it was.
Yeah,
maybe
you
that
may
was
be
the
true on
case.
that. Yeah.
And so everything's not personal. Sometimes when a player gets aggravated with you, it's not always personal. Maybe they are strong-willed. Corey Brewer played in Portland, right up the road, for Tris Kington, who's a good friend of mine, and the Warren County people that were still around, we actually played Coach Kington's Franklin Simpson team at Tennessee Tech's camp and almost got into a full-out brawl. But anyway, we became friends later. And Coach Kington, when he coached Corey Brewer at Portland, he said, Corey questions everything we do. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And, of course, Corey went on and played at Florida for 3 years, won 2 national championships, and, 7th overall pick in the NBA. So Corey wasn't trying to be, an adjunct. He just wanted to know.
Yeah.
And he wanted to soak everything in. And so he was never a problem by any means. But sometimes the guys that just want to know, they just need to know. You got to treat, and I say this, and you said talk about treating everybody the same. Yeah. I've learned over the years, I don't treat every player the same. Oh, yeah. I treat every player fair. What's fair is not always the same. Mm-hmm. And, I think Coach Rankin said he feeds the offensive lineman first. I'd say that's probably fair. Yeah. It might not be the same for everybody, but I'd call it fair.
If it gets to Praetors, they get to eat first, boys.
That's right.
I love that answer. Again, too, yeah, we had a little background. We're going to do a little background. Try to throw you little curveballs every now and then. That guy probably could throw a pretty good curveball at some point.
Yeah, France was pretty solid.
Yep.
The one that I wanted to talk about a little bit with George.
Yep.
George, his senior year, decided, from my understanding, I had left, but you still had friends around the program. Yeah. George decided not to show up for practice one day. Is that not correct? And you had to tell George that, hey, you won't be starting your first night as a senior. Is that correct? I think that game happened to Bobby Ray, I believe.
I'm not 100% sure. I can say that if that's the case, that probably did happen. That probably would happen. That would have been the standard mode of operation at that time. Again, I think I was pretty hard on some things. We at that time when we were, at Warren County Senior High School, every other week we practiced off campus at the Civic Center. Yes. We occasionally had some guys didn't quite make it on time. Probably not of their own doing, but we just said, hey, if you want to be here, you'll find a way to make it here on time. We ran a lot of what people would now call suicides. I only call them 30-second drills because you had to make it in 30 seconds.
All my guys now know why we called it a 30-second drill.
Yeah, we call them 30-second drills. So, but we probably had quite a few players that ran. And I can remember days, we were allowed to practice at a certain time. We had to be out of the Civic Center at a certain time. And I can remember at the end of practice, 5 o'clock, 5:30, whatever time it was, I wouldn't let anybody in the gym yet, and we'd have guys in the gym run. There'd be people knocking on the door like, "Get out of here, we want to play." And so we had some days like that. But George was a great player and a great baseball player too, and went on. And I think he's still in this area. Does he?
Yeah, I think he's down in the Chattanooga area.
Okay. But I saw
some family.
I saw an old Lessick name somewhere in the Warren County sports, so I didn't know if that was.
That'd be his niece.
That's his niece. Okay.
Aubrey's a little fiery there. Okay. That little old Lessick.
It's actually funny. The girl that just walked in here, they've had some battles.
Yes.
Well, I know George had coached baseball, I believe, in the Chattanooga area, and had done really well. So, but there's probably a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're trying to keep them.
Yeah,
we don't know. Everybody's got stories to tell. Scotty Kill says in the Ben Loma Connect message board, I learned a lot about basketball from Coach Luna. Thanks for the memories. Go ahead.
What is the worst decision you ever made at Warren County? Was it hiring Scotty?
Listen, I know the background on this.
I love you, Scotty. I love you.
Let me tell you something. Well, let me get into this, okay? First of all, so I come in and I'm building a staff. Again, 25 years old. Yep. Do you know how to build a staff? Maybe I don't. But I was blessed in the time that I was here. Scotty Kill did a great job. He was a great freshman coach. Yes. Very good. Had those young men that when they came out of the freshman program, they were ready to step in at the varsity level. They knew what we were doing. They might not be physically capable of doing it. Scotty did a great job. Randall Robinson did a great job. Randall was on that Warren County team that I played against, and Randall did a great job. Left, I think he was working as a paralegal maybe at the time that I got here, but got into coaching and teaching still in Coffee County schools. We still talk every once in a while. But those guys, did a great job. They were so good in the fact that they let me be the head coach, didn't challenge me very much when they probably should have, and kept me somewhat in check, but did an awesome job. I mean, they were very loyal to the program. They loved Warren County sports and did a great job. And, I still come by and do business with Scotty when I come through. I still talk to Randall every time that I come through. Ryan Smith, who, coached with us in Gallatin, I still talk to him, almost every time I come through. So, I've got a lot of friends here and very fortunate for that.
And again, too, Scott. It's
We
actually funny.
we love you, Scotty.
We love Scotty. We were talking. It was funny when we said something about
Yeah.
Scotty. Trev was last week. Trev was like, he coaches basketball.
Yeah.
So,
Trev didn't know Scotty coach basketball.
Well, it shows. I think you had some pictures. You're like,
Yeah,
hey, look at
yeah,
it. There he is. There's the guys on there. Well, again, too, everybody, if you want to light up that Ben Lomond Connect message board with more questions or just comments about Coach Bobby Luna again, too, who had a great run in Warren County, but also has had a fantastic
Absolutely.
run with Gallatin, over 600 wins, Hall of Famer, and just all around great guy. And we appreciate him being here on the Warren County Sports Authority, which is presented by Prater's Barbecue, where we will be going to eat here before it's all said and done. Also, too, just want to make note of the fact that we just had somebody come in and drop off a little bit of the money that we were trying to collect last week. We will get a little bit more into that topic before the night is over. I want to jump into buy or sell.
Yep.
And get some topics up because basketball in the state of Tennessee might be changing in the next couple of years. So we're going to see what Coach Luna thinks about some of the things that have been changing here. But let's talk about making the right investment off the field. And that is Buy or Sell segment is brought to you by Daryl Cook with First Mortgage. Buying or refinancing can feel overwhelming if you don't know what to expect. But when you've got someone walking you through every step, it gets a whole lot easier. If you're ready to get started, give Daryl a call at 931-743-5563 or shoot him an email at dcook@fmbmt.com. That's Daryl Cook, NMLS number 235-9079 with First Mortgage, member FDIC, equal housing lender. So we're going to do some buy or sell. And I think the easiest one to start with is the one that we've talked with multiple coaches on here. Shot clock. Buy or sell it in the state of Tennessee for high school basketball. Are you a buy or are you a sell?
I'm a buy. I think that it's time, and we're going to go back and we're going to talk about a change and see how long it really was before it came into effect. I played basketball, graduated high school in 1983. No three-point line. By the time he started playing, there's a three-point line 6 or 7 years later. But it wasn't as big of an effect immediately until one Steph Curry came along. And then the game totally changed at every level because he was so good at it. If you go back and look at the greatest player ever, Michael Jordan, sorry to disappoint all the LeBron fans out there.
Fact.
But
No argument here.
But anyway, in the Michael Jordan era, the three-point line had been in for a while, but it still wasn't what it is today. The I think it's actually going to be a 35-second clock in high school sports in Tennessee. But there are so many other sports that are the other states that already have it. I'm a member of the Basketball Coaches Association of Tennessee. They have been instrumental in pushing to get this. They've been, we've been had pushback on it, told no for, several times. But it's finally been approved. It'll be in 4 years, 3 years maybe. But I think you will see this coming season, we have been approved. You can, if you're hosting a Christmas tournament, if you're playing a non-district game, if both teams agree to play with the 35-second shot clock, you can do that. I don't know of anywhere that we're playing this year that we're going to do that, but I think it'll probably come up that second year. I think you'll start to see teams that will start to play with the shot clock in a lot of games. And just you can't play. The rule is you won't be able to play a district game until the TWSA has given full approval. But I think that it gives you a couple of years to get everything right. I think that most of the players are looking forward to it for sure. And I'll be honest, look. Basketball, like every other sport, evolves, and I think it's time. Probably, it's gonna change the game a little bit, but I don't know that it's gonna change it as fast as some people believe it will.
Yeah. Again, in the process at Gallatin, have you already started the installation process or anything like that?
We have not, but I want to go back.
Yeah.
When the new high school opened, which is 32
Yeah,
years
that
old
new,
now.
that new,
The
that
new
new
high
high
school,
school
yeah.
is 3
Yeah.
decades
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. There were shot clocks in there. You know who had those put in? That'd be me. Because I knew the shot clock was just around the corner. I didn't know it was going to be 36 years.
That's why they
But
call it the new high school.
Hey, I
Think
agree.
about it.
Hey, we put them in. That was one of the few things they asked, and they were putting in scoreboards. I said, "Yeah, let's put shot clocks in. That'll be in 2 or 3 years." Well, 36 years later, it's in. I don't think the shot clocks are up anymore, are they?
No, they're not.
I think those have been taken down. So
So,
I was way ahead of my time.
yeah.
He was ready.
So-
He was ready for it.
He brings up an interesting
Go
point,
ahead.
though.
Yeah.
With BCAT, Basketball Coaches Association of Tennessee, correct?
Yes.
Coach Looney's been instrumental, along with some other coaches. When you say that they've had a lot to do with it, I would totally agree, because with that association, y'all have done a really good job of pushing ideas. Be a good choice of words.
Yeah.
Hey, we're seeing this. This needs to be done. If that association is not formed years ago, do you think that the shot clock would have transpired in the way that that it has? In my opinion, I do not. I think that coaches association really kind of said, "Hey, we're going to be the voice of this," and y'all did a really good job of that. Would you agree with that?
I agree 100%. It's been pushed by coaches. It's been taken. The thing is, the TWSAA has allowed the Basketball Coaches Association to have a seat at the table, to have discussion. Football has been very instrumental in doing that. And, they've been able to get some of the things that they want. But not only the shot clock. I'm sure most people know basketball will get an extra week of practice this year at the beginning of the season.
That's big.
Basketball was the only sport that only had 2 weeks of preseason practice. Every other sport had at least 3. So that is a result of the Basketball Coaches Association of Tennessee, which is headed by Bruce Slatton out of White County. Tim Halford, Tim Allen have been big in that. Jason Welch, who's now coaching at Tullahoma, has been big in that. Jim McDowell from Lebanon is now big in that. John Wild down, he's moved so many times I can't think of which school he's at right now. They're the Rockets. What is that?
Is it Forrest?
Forrest, there you go. I couldn't think of
Yeah.
it. But anyway, those guys have been instrumental in getting this done. But also, basketball actually lost spring practice at one time. That was, able to come back based on the basketball coaches. And this past year, we got 8 days of spring practice as opposed to 5. So the Basketball Coaches Association has been really good at getting some things done, for their sport. And you kind of have to get a seat at the table. So thanks to the TWSAA for letting us get to the table to have those conversations, but it has been good for the sport. So, there's a lot of good that comes out of spring practice. Can we get our offense in? No. Can we have some tryout days and kind of find out who our team is going into the summer and, and get some things done in the summer? Absolutely. Without it, you can't. So it's been very instrumental in getting a lot of those things done.
I think that we've basically our straw poll that we're doing on the Warren County Sports Authority right now is in favor of the shot. Well, I mean, it's happening no matter what. But I think it's been favor. And we've only had one holdout right now that was kind of iffy on that, and that was Coach Kyle. But he just said it was because you put in a shot clock in his style of play.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Everybody's doing the same thing. Buy or sell Tennessee State Tournament seeding 1 to 8 based on the new formula instead of maybe the blind draws that they used to do or the ping pong balls.
I'm going to be different from a lot of people. I'm going to sell it. I'm not in favor of it because we do not have a governing body, or we do not have people who can literally look at and see every team play. A few years ago, there was a girls team actually in the highest classification that was 33-0 going into the state tournament. They would have been the number 1 seed, no doubt. Everybody talked about how good they were. They lost their first round game by 30 points to a team that had lost about 7 games that year. Different areas of the state are different. I
agree.
I don't necessarily, it hasn't really been a blind draw every time. I knew a couple of the times that we went to the state tournament, we knew who we were going to play the winner of if we made it there. And it does kind of rotate around. But what if the best team of those actual seeds is a 1 and the team in their region is the 8? Are they going to turn around and play in the first round of the state tournament after they just probably played each other in the finals of the region tournament? I don't know. There's still a lot of questions. Soccer does it. They love it. Our soccer coach is very involved in that. But I just think that we don't have a situation right now where everyone knows everybody across the state of Tennessee. I know how good Walker Valley is, but only because I've seen them on YouTube playing Warren County, and I know that's who Lebanon played in the sub-state or sectional last year to make it to the state tournament. But I can guarantee you there's a lot of people in Memphis that don't have a clue how good Walker Valley is. Did they make the finals of the state tournament last year? No,
Semifinals.
semifinals, but they were pretty dang good.
Pretty darn good.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say a lot of people probably didn't know how good they are. So that's my personal opinion. But I get it both ways. I get it. You know, we played Raleigh, Egypt in the first round of the state tournament. My very first trip. They would have probably been a 2 seed. They didn't know where Gallatin was. But you know, just there's a lot to it. I'm just afraid.
Were you surprised that happened? I was surprised that the TSSAA agreed upon that. For some reason, I didn't see that coming this early.
I'll say this. I think there's been a lot of times where the 2 best teams in the tournament have played in the first round. I mean, the Brentwood versus Bartlett game this past year in 4A that's probably the 2 best teams. They, you know, if you know for a fact they shouldn't be playing in the first round. But how do you really know? Now, granted, last year you could probably tell, but you know, this is not just at the 4A level. This is 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. Some of those 1A teams are in certain areas. They don't have the opportunity to play as many good teams. How are you really going to know? So I'm not against it. I'm just concerned. So they're going to do it. Let's see how it goes. I'll say this. I'd like to be in the state tournament and feel like I got a bad seed every year, so that'd be okay with me. So, and I think it'd be okay with a lot of coaches. But I get it.
You get to play the underdog role.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're one of the 8 best teams in the state, but
That's
all of
right.
a sudden you're the underdog.
That's right.
They didn't.
Yep.
Nobody respected us. We were the 8 when it comes to that.
So what do you think?
I'd like to see the methodology. I want to know exactly how they're going to break it down.
I do like it.
Yeah.
But I think we've got to understand how the whole metrics is going to work up.
Right.
I think this really has taken shape over the last 2 or 3 years, and it really doesn't have a lot to do with boys basketball. I think the girls basketball the last couple of years with when Coffee goes and plays Bradley, that kind of put a why is this happening?
Right.
And then the social media aspect, there's a lot more voices that you weren't hearing 10 years ago. Because let's be honest, these same things were happening 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Sure.
There were some times you were getting the best 2 teams on opening night.
Right.
I am concerned when I hear that it's going to be a max preps type deal because if there's one thing that I never did look at when it came to seeding was max preps. You know what I mean? Coaches like myself didn't turn stuff in.
Right.
Those are the type of things. I do think in 10, 15, 20 years it could be a great thing. I think in the first 3 or 4 years you're going to have some coaches say, how in the world did you rank that 6 and this was 2?
Right. Yeah.
I do think that you can. That's something I'd want to ask Coach Sloan. I think if you're starting to see that we're going to be ranked, you know how some coaches, and you never were like this. You never went out and said, I'm going to get 20 wins, and my schedule will dictate that because I'm going to play 15 teams that can't play with us. You always scheduled the best teams. Do you think there's an opportunity for coaches to say, hey, I'm going to have to schedule better competition when it comes to non-region or non-district games because the cupcakes are not going to help us when it comes to ranking?
If you're good enough to go to the state tournament, if you're that type of team, I think you probably are going to have to do that. But again, let's go back and see the metrics and see how this max preps works. Because I'm like you, I don't turn anything into max preps still, and that's just a different part of my job that I just really don't have the time to do it. I'm more worried about my team, not what somebody else thinks about my team.
Yeah, and again, the methodology, and we've said this because you just brought it up. I think a lot of this might be driven more from the girls' basketball matchups that have happened over the last couple of years, including the 1A, the repeat of the 1A state championship from a year ago to this past year in the winter and in February, March area. Again, too, the one thing that we talk about as well is, and you just brought it up, we call the Mecca of girls' basketball here in the Upper Cumberland. Well, what is a 10-loss Upper Cumberland girls basketball team going to be ranked compared to as you just brought up, maybe a 33-0 1A or 2A team from West Tennessee that's just not seeing that same level of competition? How is it going to figure that out? If it can figure it out, I'm all for it. And now, if we just find out, like you just said, it's just going to be based on wins. People will go find their wins. I mean, that's what you don't want because you want these teams. You want teams playing premier marquee matchups. I mean, I know there's probably teams that people are just going to say Gallatin's always going to play this team, we talk about it in Warren County. We always want to play White County. I don't care if we are in the district or not in the district. That's a game everybody wants to see. There's a game that the people want to see around this area that's not happening. That's White County and Coffee County in girls basketball. We'll see it happen.
Or the White County Cookville game.
White County Cookville game. Yeah. Last buy or sell. The region qualifier should go from 4 to 3.
I think it's I get it. Basketball is one of the few sports that you can lose several games along the way and still make it into the state tournament. I think that would put some importance on that consolation game in the region tournament. And I know the seeding would change because whoever the one is, coming out is going to get a bye in that next round when they get ready to play, after the 2 and 3 are seeded. But no, I think it's a good idea. I think it's probably coming.
So you want to explain? You've made your point on this one.
I've said it at some point in time that consolation game needs to mean something. I think there's too many now. We've got too many teams, and we've talked about this. Too many 1 versus 4s can get out of hand in a lot of ways. I would agree with Coach Luna. We were the number 1 seed a couple times. I'd love to have a bye. I'd go scout the team.
Right.
That'd be great seeing that.
Yeah.
I do think that's probably an advantage. Hey, that game, if you win, you do get a bye. I think that's a quality thing. I think I struggle at times with what Coach Luna just said. There's too many losses that can still get you to the state tournament.
Right.
I think there's a lot of states, and you've talked to coaches in other states.
Yep.
They look at our model going, how in the heck could you get the state tournament by losing 3 games?
Yep.
How is that possible?
Yep.
I mean, we can't get the state tournament if we lose 3 games in a season. You guys can do this in postseason.
Right.
I do think that probably needs to change.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see, like Coach Luna said, I think it's going to. It's just when.
I think we're 2 to 3 years away.
Yeah, and again, too, the shot clock fully implemented is probably a couple of years away as well. And obviously that seeding, we're going to see how that plays out because whether we bought it or sold it in the, again, sponsored by Darrell Cook with First Mortgage, it's going to happen anyways. And this is the Warren County Sports Authority. I am Jeff Simmons. He is Chris Sullins. We are here with Coach Bobby Luna. We're going to take a quick break, but we want to tell you a little bit about our presenting sponsor, which is Prater's Barbecue, 635-2259 if you want to go out there, out on the right on Morrison Highway and get you some fine barbecue or, like I always get, chicken tenders. You going sampler or ribs tonight?
I'm probably going to go sampler.
You're going sampler tonight? Okay.
Sampler.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have more with Coach Bobby Luna, and we have the much anticipated Sullivan Round of the Week.
Well, I got problems, and they ain't my fault. Yeah, the stars are aligned against me, boys. It's an organized assault. I found a heads-up penny, threw it in the well, but my luck, it ain't changed yet. And I just lit the wrong end of my last cigarette. Well, I ain't handsome, but I'd like to be. And all the ladies down there at the Legion Hall, well, they'd be fighting over me. They're being deprived of all my charm and my company. Well, I ain't handsome, but I damn sure like to be. Well, I got problems, and they ain't my fault. Yeah, the stars are aligned against me, boys. It's an organized assault. I found a heads-up penny, threw it in the well, but my luck, it ain't changed yet. And I just lit the wrong end of my last cigarette. I've got no money, and it don't seem fair. 'Cause deep down in my soul, I know I'd make a damn fine millionaire. But at the end of the month, I ain't got no change to spare. I got no money, Lord, it don't seem fair. Well, I got problems, and you know they ain't my fault. Yeah, the stars are aligned against me, boys. It's an organized assault. I found a heads-up penny, threw it in the well, but my luck, it ain't changed yet. And I just lit the wrong end of my last cigarette. I ain't got no honey to hold me tight. Yeah, to kiss and cuddle and keep me warm at night. Well, I got problems, and you know they ain't my fault. Yeah, the stars are aligned against me, boys. It's an organized assault. I found a heads-up penny, I threw it in the well, but my luck, it ain't changed yet. And I just lit the wrong end of my last cigarette. Yeah, I just lit the wrong end of my last cigarette.
Welcome back to the Warren County Sports Authority, again presented by Prater's Barbecue, where you can always get that fine dining out there on the on Morrison Highway again too.
Called today.
Yeah,
You know, he's getting close. The new facility.
It's
He's getting close.
it's not gonna be
not
long
that
now.
far.
Yeah, again too. 635-2259 out on Morrison Highway, Manchester Highway, if you want to call it that. We don't here in Warren County. They might call it out over there. I don't care. I don't know what the name is.
We're out there on the
That's
right.
Highway
boy.
55. We're the Chamber of Commerce. We call it whatever we want. Let's go ahead and get to it because everybody wants us to do it. They said, got to have it in right around that 6 o'clock mark, and that is the Sullins Rant of the Week, brought to you by Supreme Building Products, locally owned and operated since 1963. Supreme is a full-service retail lumberyard offering quality products at competitive prices. What do you need for your next home improvement project? Well, if you need dimensional lumber, roofing material, Benjamin Moore paint. That's right. There you go. Go with that. Supreme has all that and more. Make sure to be following Reese's FYI Fridays for the latest weekly specials. Again, those are on Warren First, Reese's FYI Fridays. And shop local, shop Supreme Building Products. I'm going to put the over-under at 2 minutes. We're not even going to put a clock in it. I'm going to take a under on this one, but we're going to go one camera. Coach Chris Sullins, take us away.
It's pretty simple because Coach Luna walked in. And we found out, I think Coach Luna actually watches the show or some clips.
Oh, he knew a few.
Because he talked about our students, how he thought Warren County was doing a great job of a $20 pass of allowing our students to get into all events. And we've talked about it. We'd love for students to be able to get in for free. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but $20 to get them in, that's a great thing. We talked about a little bit that last week, and Deborah Evans steps up and says, you know what, I'm going to give 5 tickets. I'll buy 5. And that's 5 went to 10, went to 15. Before we know it, we're up to, I think, 75 or 80 passes that are going to be paid for students that are coming to Warren County to athletic competitions. That means they can come to volleyball games, they can go to soccer games, they can go to tennis matches, all those type of things. Miss Evans, thank you, because you stepped up to the plate and others followed. And we talk about all the time this donating money for downtown and all some of this nonsense that we think probably should go to other places. But anytime you can get your student body involved when it comes to your athletics or just as the school in general, and we know how important homecoming is and all those type of things when it comes to Warren County, we're just glad that Miss Deborah was the one that stepped up and said, hey, let's start this. I think it may be at 80, 85 from my understanding.
We could actually
almost
be up to 100, yep.
That's 100 students that are going to be able to walk in that gym free every single time, or not only the gym, to the football field, all the facilities, all the games that we have. Thank you, Miss Deborah. I know you and Trevor and Mr. Evans are going through a little bit of tough time, but we want to know we love you. We're shouting you out, and we appreciate what you did. That's all I got tonight. Because these people come listen to Coach Luna.
Yep, and we're going to actually I'm going to piggyback off of that one because we're going to do Trev's TNT Power Broker of the Week. And, hey, see if you know this one, Coach Sullins. When you think about power, think about the Napa store on Burstby Highway. Napa not only has the powerful Legend batteries, but did you know they custom make or repair battery cables?
Yes, he actually delivered 2 yesterday.
Yeah, well, hey, Napa has stocks.
I kind of know what Napa does. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Well, I want to say that I think he took my advice on the ad reads because he says in here that Napa stocks grout wire.
It's not grout, it's grody. Is it Grote?
Yeah.
It's grody.
I was close.
Grout.
Raw
Where
wire.
do you get grout out of Grote?
I'm just reading. I told you he had told him to give me some words.
Yeah, he gave you some words.
And I even looked it up, and it said it's supposed to rhyme with boat, coat, note.
Okay.
And they apparently that is absolutely wrong.
That's
wrong.
wrong.
What happens on this? So from 4 gauge for small engines up to, and the best one was he tried to really throw me off. He just put 000 cable for heavy equipment, but I think that's triple aught.
Triple aught. Yeah.
So I actually changed it on that one. You tried, Thomas, but I found that one out. If you just need a boost, they have powerful chargers and boosters packs from companies like Chlor, Noco. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's good.
Chlor, Noco, Start All, and Projecta. Call 931-474-6272 for more information. Napa, the proud supporter of Trevor's TNT Power Broker of the Week. Thomas, he tried it so bad.
Man.
All right, but again, our power broker is going to be Deborah Evans because I think she started something that, again, we've actually had a couple of people show up during the show. We have a Venmo, and if you need to send that money via Venmo, we can take that with the Warren County Sports Authority, and we will get that to the school. We have talked to the ADs. It's going to be a process of making sure that we can get that selection, but they said that this will be something, and they're very thankful for us doing that. And we're very thankful for Deborah Evans for starting that. I appreciate that a lot. And again, too, if you want some of that Warren County Sports apparel, like what
C4.
Coach
Sullins
is wearing.
Hey, we're fixing to be live at Nunley.
Yeah.
Fixing to be live in the Dalt. You need some of that C4 apparel, the official apparel provider of the Warren County Sports Authority. Jeff Chisholm will fix you up. He can't shoot the basketball, but he can make you look good while you're shooting it. If you know, you know.
Well, again, too, appreciate that. But let's get back to Coach Bobby Lona because that's the person that we want to do that. And let's talk about when sometimes Josh Winfrey's asked a question that I think is really good for some locked in. And you might know Josh Winfrey.
I know.
When it comes to that. Before we get into who's locked in this week, let's talk about the people who make sure you're never stuck on the outside looking in. That's a locked in segment brought to you by the Lock Shop right here in McMinnville. Whether you're dealing with your home, your business, or your vehicle, these are the folks you call when you need fast, reliable help. They've been the locksmith in hometown area since 1996, and they're bonded, certified, licenses. So you know they're getting the job done right. Give them a call, 473-4216. That's Rob Williams at 473-4216. Let's get the Lock Shop, get you back in. Josh Winfrey asked, when was a point when you knew you were on to something here in Warren County, a moment or a feeling or a game, and may or may not say with Troy Carter says probably when he was our PE teacher in 9th grade when we played basketball every day. Was that when everything locked in?
Absolutely.
Or did you?
When I saw Troy playing in PE, I knew it was all. I said, we everything's good. We've got everything under control.
Yeah, but again, too, people want to know about these 90 teams, and I know there had to have been some moments where, as we talked about earlier, that first year, you had some close calls.
Right.
When did it kind of start locking in, and who was locking in with it?
It was in the 91-92 season. We were on the road. We played at Murfreesboro, Oakland, and they were ranked number 1 in the state. Earlier in the year, they'd beaten us by 35 plus. At that time, I don't believe there was a running clock. You just had to take it until the end, similar to the 77-0 football game. Did I throw that back out? I apologize. Was that Coach Fisher?
Coach Fisher caught
I'm sorry.
another one. He's still
Anyway.
He's catching strays everywhere, man.
Anyway, we're on the road at Oakland. We got off to a good start that night. We led a lot of the game. At the end of the game, Oakland made a run and sent it. They actually led by 1. I'll take it back. We threw the ball length of the court. Alan Smith catches, goes up, they foul him. So he's going to the free throw line to shoot 2. We're down 1 with maybe 2 seconds left in regulation. And Oakland took a timeout to ice the shooter, I guess. Allen was sitting on the bench. I think I hit him on the knee with a clipboard because he looked nervous and wouldn't look at me. And so, but, he went out. He made 1 out of 2. We go to overtime. I was kind of thinking, hey, maybe here we go again. Here's another close loss. But in overtime, we hit a big 3 early in overtime. I want to say it was Chad Foster maybe. And then I believe Brian Stiles completed the rest of the game. He went 7 for 7 from the free throw line when we did have the lead and they started putting us on the line. Everybody stepped in, did the things that they had to do. We upset Oakland on the road. They were number 1 in the state at that time. They had a really good team that year, as they did every year that I coached at Warren County. Oakland was in the top 5 in the state. But I think that's when I started to believe as a coach. I remember one of the teachers who had listened to the game on radio coming to me the next day in the hallway and says, hey, we can't miss a basketball game anymore because we never know when something great is going to happen. So I think that was kind of the time that I figured out, hey, we can do this.
Wow. Yeah. When the buy-in starts coming in from inside the building on that, Troy Carter also posted in our message board. Again, that's the Ben Lomond Connect message board where he said beating Oakland was that, and Josh Winfrey chimed in was so true. And Franklin Fisher also said, "Dang, come on, Bobby."
Fisher took Chris Stanford just strays, man, for weeks.
No,
brother.
these aren't straight. These are
exactly. Yeah. These are marksmen.
They're on target. On that. Oh man. Well, I say again too, Coach. I mean, that's the year after.
Yeah.
A few years, and then. But what was it like when you start hearing about that? Did you hear about the Oakland game?
Absolutely.
Did you make it to that?
Absolutely. You were hearing what was going on when you were coming back from college. You were going to games on Friday nights, and they were just a really good basketball team. They were solid in a lot of areas, playing very hard. They had some size. One thing I'd like to ask Coach Luna, and I'm glad Coach Fisher's in here, okay? Because I think this is something that I've always wanted to ask these guys that were there.
Yeah.
My class at 90-91, I think, was the last class where the best kids played football. From 91 to 92 on up till, I would say, CJ's class.
Yeah. All the way to 2019, 2020.
Did you guys know, because you were the basketball coach, and you had Olesic, and you had France, and then you had Woodside and Dathan, and like you said, Ryan Smith and Josh Morris. A lot of those guys would have been difference makers on the football field, but they had became a basketball, baseball, athletic body. It seemed like. Did you guys know this, and was there any? I've always told there was maybe some administration at a higher level that didn't really like that as much. They wanted the best kids to play football, but they just weren't. Expand on that a little bit.
It was discussed behind closed doors
Really?
a couple times. The thing that I would say is you can't make people like doing what you like. They're going to do the things where they feel like they have the best chance to be successful. You look at any program that's struggling, it is hard to get it back on track.
Yes.
People are going to gravitate towards success. People are going to gravitate towards successful programs, a lot of the transfer, okay? That's just human nature. No one ever discouraged any of those guys. The baseball coach didn't discourage anybody from playing football or basketball or any other sports and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, when I first got here, my first year, Ray Barnes was the head football coach at that time. Ray Barnes from Gallatin, by the way. I did not know at that time, but after I went back to Gallatin, he let me know that, and we talked several times. Ray encouraged players to play other sports. And, a couple of those guys, we talked about having that large roster our first year. There was a couple of guys that he encouraged to come out and play. They were seniors. Football career was over. The same thing happened when I was at Gallatin. Jerry Joslin, my first year there, encouraged guys to come out and play basketball. So no one has ever discouraged. But you can go back a long way in Warren County football history, and, I know what the struggles were, and I apologize to Coach Fisher, because if I'm not mistaken, Coach Fisher's last year being a football coach, I was here at that time, I believe he was teacher of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So, which you look at that and go, okay, he's teacher of the year, and I think they went 5-5 that year, maybe. Had a pretty good season. But anyway, that's off the point. But just, kids are going to gravitate towards what's going on. We did have a lot of baseball, basketball guys. I learned a lot from Coach Brown. I'm sure he's in the Warren County Hall of Fame, no doubt in my mind. But I learned a lot of things from Coach Brown. We talked a lot. His locker room, my locker room at the old high school were side by side. We talked a lot. I learned a lot. There's still things that I carry on and do today because, he taught me how to do that. And so I just think that, kids gravitate towards things that are successful. And once things start to slip, you need a special group to come in. And in our case, it was, that group, that 91-92 group, not discounting the group before, because like I said, they were the first step. But people will gravitate towards success. I have often said this, okay? When I left Warren County, my last year coaching basketball, we had pretty good size. I had guys on my basketball team that could have probably been better offensive linemen than they were basketball players. Now, made us really tough and physical. They didn't play a lot of basketball minutes, but we did kind of get them into the mix occasionally. But I just think that, it was never a spoken thing where you encourage somebody not to play or to play or whatever. And I still do that today as a coach. That's not my job, is to discourage someone from playing another sport. And I'll be honest, I don't ask people to play basketball because I've always felt like if they really want to play, they're going to play. And if they don't want to play, they're probably going to find a problem with the coach and get out of playing.
One thing that I would add to that too, when I was talking about 91, 92 was the first class, and it just kind of continued to grow. A lot of that had to do with they didn't stop playing football when they were freshmen. They weren't playing the sports in the middle school. Well, a lot of that had to do with the Americans were traveling. They had baseball. Coach Luna started exposing young men to AAU basketball. There was things to do that maybe weren't able to do in the mid '80s and the early '90s. But I do think, and I've always felt bad for a guy like Coach Fisher, because I'm looking going, this had nothing to do with the coaches. The best kids weren't playing that sport, but it wasn't they had stopped when they didn't stop at the last year of the middle school. They weren't playing when they were 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and it just kind of grew.
Again, too. Well, I will say that in the Ben Lomond Connect message board that Coach Fisher might be alluding to why he stopped coaching football. Said, couldn't out-recruit him for athletes when I coach football. Another reason I decided to focus on volleyball and softball. But he did say, I always wanted my players to play as many sports as possible. Just wanted them to continue to play our sport as well. He ran him out of football.
Had nothing to do with it.
No, I don't think so at all. That was just a take your medicine moment, Coach Fisher. No, I'm kidding. But we are going to get into take your medicine. If you're tired of being treated like just another number at the big chain pharmacies, it's time to take a short drive to Spencer Drug Company. If I keep medicine with Coach Fisher, I'm going to have to take some medicine. If you need your prescription filled fast, they got you covered. If you need answers about your medication, they're right there to help. Spearheaded by Rhonda Barnes, Beth Kirby, and their great team. They make it easy and convenient to take care of your health. So whether you're in Sparta, McMinnville, Spencer, or anywhere nearby, take the drive and see the difference yourself. Spencer Drug Company, where service still matters. 120 College Street, 931-946-7900. I mean, is there ever that moment now? You've won 600 games. you've won at the highest levels. Is there ever a time now where you look at it and say, I needed to take my medicine. I didn't do it right. Was there ever a game or a moment or anything that you were like, yeah, I have to own this one a little bit?
Absolutely. We've played in a very competitive district. Like I say, we have several large high schools in Sumner County. We also play the schools in Wilson County, the Mount Juliet, Lebanon, Green Hill, Wilson Central. In Sumner County, we've had multiple close battles. Coach Darren Joins, good friend of mine, he's at Franklin Christian now, was at Franklin, has been the athletic director in Wilson County Schools. But when he was at Beach, he came on the scene, and he was the first person around that area to be playing the 1-3-1. And he did such a good job with it, and he was the only team that was playing it from the tee up until the end of the game. You couldn't get him out of the 1-3-1. And he could do so many different things with it. He could trap you. But we had several games over the years where we would lead for 30 minutes. But the last 2 minutes, we would maybe struggle. And there was a couple times, there was one night we lost a close game, a game that I felt like we could win. And I went into the locker room, and it was the middle of January. It was cold outside. I walked out the back door of the building, and I realized I didn't have my keys. I was locked out of the building for 15 minutes. I finally found a custodian who was working over on another part of the campus about 10 o'clock, banged on the door and got back in. And the thing was, everybody knew, if we had lost a close game like that and I was frustrated, you didn't need to come and find me. And so there was no one looking for me. I was just outside, didn't have car keys. By the time I got back in the building, the gym was empty. I think my wife had gone home. No one was worried about me. And it was one of those nights, it's like 5 degrees outside in the middle of January. I'm sweating because we just got through playing, but I was so
really
frustrated. And I knew, I said, I have messed this up. I am so frustrated. I don't remember what the exact situation was late in that game, but I felt like I had let one get away. And I've had that happen a couple other times. I was just smart enough not to run outside the building. But yeah, so yeah, and I am the first one, and I tell our players a lot. I say, look, anytime we've been frustrated after a game, the first thing I tell my players, before I go evaluate you, I'm going to go evaluate me, and I'm going to see what I could have done differently. And hopefully I can learn from that. Now I will evaluate some of the players. Sometimes there are just player mistakes. But I've had that, again, I've been fortunate. You said, our coaching staff, we've won 600 games. I've lost over 400 because I've coached over 1,000 games. So I don't know the exact numbers either way, but, our assistant athletic director at Gallatin does a pretty good job of keeping up with that. And, he was the one that told me when we got to 600. And he was also the one that, told me, he said, hey, you've coached over 1,000 games now. I didn't see that. When we finished our first season at Warren County, in my mind, I just wanted to have a winning season. I thought, seriously, I just said, hey, can I do this? Can we have a winning season? I've been so blessed and so fortunate to do it for this long and to have those moments.
Yeah. That's the one that they don't keep up with. Who's the all-time loss leader?
Yeah.
So, hey, by the way, you're the all-time win leaders here, but you might be the all-time loss leader.
My take your medicine is going to be this. 5 years in Warren County, you had built the program was in really, really good condition. Mm-hmm. Was Gallatin the first job that you looked at while you were at Warren County? And did you think you were going to get the Gallatin job?
Gallatin was the second job.
Really?
After year 3, I actually interviewed at Riverdale.
Really?
And got into the final 3. Fortunately for me, David Colley got that job, and he only stayed 2 years. And that was at the time that Gary Rankin was there and had it rolling in football. But Riverdale had great athletes. And some of those names that I heard Gary mentioned, or Coach Rankin mentioned the other day, I was like, those are the guys they were also playing basketball at that time. They were unbelievable athletically. So I interviewed. They never offered me the job. I never, said that I would go. The Gallatin job, I had seen Gallatin play the previous year at Cookeville when I was scouting Cookeville. Every player on that Gallatin team signed a Division I scholarship. Some in baseball, some in basketball, some in football. But every starter on that team, not every player, every starter on that team had signed a Division I scholarship. And I had said to myself, if that job came open, I would probably be interested in it. The job came open after the school year had started. The new principal, Mr. Benny Bills, had taken over. And the basketball coach left a Post-it note on the secretary's desk with the keys to the gym and said, "I resign," and signed his name to it. And that's how they found out. And he never came back into the building. But so the school year had started, and an assistant principal told me that that job was open. And I just thought to myself, things started turning. I thought, well, I may see about this. And so I told the administration at Warren County, I said, I just want you guys to know, in case you hear from somebody else, hey, I don't think anything's going to come from it, but I put my name in at Gallatin. So the day that I went in and told them, I said, look, I'm going to go. They're like, I thought you were kidding. I said, no, I told you that I wasn't trying to do anything behind the scenes. It wasn't a great time to leave. It didn't fit, the normal school year, but opportunities don't knock every day. Obviously, going into my 32nd year in Gallatin now, it was the right thing for me at that time. It was tough. I still have friends. I left friends here. It wasn't the perfect situation, but life doesn't always come at you in perfect situations, and sometimes you have to make some decisions. Looking back, it was the right thing to do. It wasn't necessarily the right way to do it, but it worked out well. It was a tough situation. It has been a really good job. At the time that I got there, there were issues that we had to take care of. The program was in great shape here financially. We had a great booster club here. Miss Kay Foster of Foster and Foster Realty ran the booster club the entire 5 years, and she didn't have a child playing at that time. Did a great job. We were fine. We had just come off a trip. We had played the previous year in Florida, charter bus to Florida. So we had done some really nice things for our players. But, when I got to Gallatin, it was a different situation. They had an average team for the last couple of years. Didn't have very many people in the stands at games. So about 2 weeks after I've taken the job, my principal calls me and he said, hey, by the way, I'm going to let you know you're $10,000 in the hole. You got 2 years to get it fixed. So I had some things to do, to say the least. But he was nice about it. He said he'd give me 2 years to fix it. But we have great community support there. That's not an issue anymore. And but at that time, that was something, to do. But
Yeah, you're not bought any Post-it notes or anything. People, for anybody watching in Gallatin.
Is that worse than sending a text to see you later?
A Post-it note, man.
Yep.
The see you later text is the whole time.
With the C and you.
Yeah, well, this isn't any category real quick on that, but I want to see if we can get a confirmation on this from the Ben Lomond Connect message board. Again, Ben Lomond Connect, where they're delivering the internet
At the speed of light.
Jay Walker says, when Bobby was coaching here, when you called his voicemail, you heard a voice. Was that can you confirm whose voice might have been on there and what it was talking about?
it was an egotistical.
I like this story.
I love it.
It was a very young idiot, egotistical thing. It was my voice, I think, that came from, I want to say, Jack Clark, who was playing baseball for the San Francisco Giants. Mm-hmm. But it had something to do with being a self-proclaimed legend. Well, I don't think it was on there very long, so I don't know when Jay called. But
Jay,
if that's what he's talking about, if I had a second one, I don't know what it was.
He said it might have evolved to a Tolly Wayne's radio call of a basket Bobby made in the Warren County game.
That might be true too.
Yeah, we got a better one.
That might be true too, and I still have that on cassette tape somewhere. Can't play it anymore, but I still have it.
No, he didn't have a chip on his shoulder. He got a cassette tape.
That's right.
60 years later.
He didn't take your medicine all, Warren County. Oh, man, I love that. I love the stories out there. Keep them coming in the Ben Lomond Connect message board. We'll tell you a little bit about Ben Lomond Connect. Well, one thing we love here at the Warren County Way, it's the word free. If you're like us, you're going to love what Ben Lomond Connect has going on right now. New customers can get 3 months free. When you sign up by September 30th, you get true fiber to the home with lightning fast speeds, matching upload and download speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local customer support that's there for you 24/7, 365. If you're ready to stop buffering and start streaming, working, or gaming without the headaches, make the switch to Ben Lomond Connect today. 3 months free, but don't wait because the offer ends September the 30th. Certain terms apply. Must have both paperless billing and auto pay. No contract exclusions restrictions may apply. Again, Ben Lomond Connect, delivering the internet
At the speed of
life. Christy Allison says, "Hey, Coach Luna, great to see you." And Josh Winfrey says, "I often tell people how deep your teams were, how hard it was to play so many players, and what your thought process was. By the way, appreciate you doing that." From Josh Winfrey and Christy Allison. So, I mean, you still a lot of fans here in Warren County. Coach, do we need to go? I don't know if I want to do see in the future.
Well, look.
Because I want to take it, because I think it's going to be easier to take it back to the past, because I still feel like we have so many people that want more, that they want more. But we're all going to do see in the future. Are you ready to tackle any job in Middle Tennessee, from powerful Kubota tractors, mowers, and construction to steel chainsaw? Krebs Kubota
Krebs Kubota
has what you need. Your local dealer, it just doesn't feel the same without Trev.
No, you got to have Trev.
Yeah,
Trev's middleman.
Yep. Your local dealer of choice for sales, service, and rentals. Visit Krebs Kubota in Murfreesboro and experience the Krebs way. Plus, he'd give you a hard time if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's Krebs Kubota at 615-890-1200. You also find them at KrebsKubota.com. We can do a little bit of see in the future, but I am going to flip it back into taking it to the past. Just a little bit of mix here. I got a note. A little bit about a Lincoln County situation on this. I might just be making you mad when it comes to this, but Lincoln County might have been one of the best teams that you ever had in Warren County. He had played Lincoln County, then played Lincoln County again. Can you confirm any of this in a region? What happened here?
I
got notes about this, and they basically said, ask him.
This one hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I could tell. Like
This one hurt my feelings. We had played Lincoln County twice during the regular season. The very first game I ever coached at Warren County was against Lincoln County on the road. Got my first technical, so I got my first big boy head coaching thing done. But anyway, the last year that I was here, we had played Lincoln County, maybe senior night, but at least probably the last regular season game. And we beat them pretty handily. Played really well that night, beat them maybe 20-22, something like that. So we go through the district tournament. We played Oakland again in the semifinals. Upset Oakland. I think at that time they were ranked number 4 in the state.
Yep.
Jeremy Woodside had a great game. Dathan had a great game. Josh Morris, Corey Hill, everybody had played so good. Nathan Davis was a sophomore point guard who came in, filled in for Ryan Smith after he tore his ACL. But anyway, so we win, and we played Lebanon in the finals of the district tournament. We were the 4 seed going in because the league was just loaded. But had a sellout crowd that night. And by the way, I don't know if anybody is aware of this. We literally had a sellout. The fire marshal
That's true.
stopped letting people into the gym, the gym
yes.
that you're in now. And we had parents call us and said, "Hey, can you let me in the back door to the game?" So Coach Robinson was taking phone calls and letting people in the back door of the gym because they were not going to let the parents in to watch the game. I still have the video.
That is factual.
Yeah. People sitting on the floor
Yes.
around the edge of the gym.
Yes.
But anyway, so we finished as the runner-up, and Lincoln County had finished as a 3 seed, and I was so dumb. I said, "Hey, we're in pretty good shape right here. Our seed going into the region tournament, which the region was at Lebanon that year, and for whatever reason, we could not make a shot. We played well, we played hard, we executed, we did everything that we needed to do, and we could not get the ball to go in the basket that night. We ended up losing a fairly close game. I was extremely frustrated with the game, not by anything other than just the ball did not go through the basket, and I probably blasted anybody that would have talked to me that night, but assistant coaches or anybody. It was a really frustrating situation. So if that's what they're talking about, that's probably what it was. Beating a team by 20 plus. And then playing them again 2 weeks later and losing the most important game, because that would have put us in the semifinals of the region and given us a chance. And Lincoln County went on and made it to the sub-state, lost on the road at Chattanooga Brainerd in a fairly close game, who went to the state tournament that year. And but we were that much better than that team, but we let that one get away.
Well, I'm gonna next time that I'm gonna look at our viewers and our people that send us questions. Help me avoid a disaster next time. He didn't want to go that story.
He didn't want to go there.
He said, don't ask me that.
Yeah.
Well,
put me right in the middle of this. Come on now,
that
people.
one, and everybody knows I'm a kind of, I don't want to say Warren County basketball historian, but I've kept up with it. To me, that was one of the best teams. I told you today. I personally think that's the best team Warren County's had since the Russ Spivey. I mean, they were, it was what, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7".
Yep.
Woodside was the district player of the year that year. I mean, they could play with anybody. And he's right. They go to Lincoln County, and it was at Lebanon, and it just we've been there. It just didn't go in the hole.
Right.
And I remember Jay calling that game, and you could actually not really hearing Jay's voice, but we've missed again. It was one of those nights. If they had played that team 10 times, they beat them 9.5.
Yeah.
Just didn't happen.
Very tough. Well, again, too, didn't really want to go there, but I guess, too, as we're in the seeing the future, which now we've turned into reliving the past, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. But we've never done this before. I have another one. We're going to go back into the Ben Lomond Connect message boards because it was said very early tonight. James Bennett said, offered a job once. So looking in the past, how close were you to potentially making a return back to Warren County in those situations?
It was a serious consideration. I told my wife Sue, when we went to Gallatin, I said, look, her family's from here, my family's from here. I said, I want to go do this for 8 or 10 years, and if the opportunity comes up, we'll go back. Life happens. I have 3 daughters who were all in school at that time. Coach Bennett had called me, and I told him, I said, look, I need to think about this, and I need to talk. And I really thought that my wife would be the driving force and say, no, let's go, let's go, let's go. At the end of the day, with our kids established in school, she was the one who said, no, I think that this is our home now, and we'll stay. So I made that phone call to Coach Bennett and, told him that I was going to be staying where I was at. But, we had already talked enough that we had talked about, hey, if I come, because there'd possibly be a job for Sue. She's an English teacher who just retired. There'd possibly be a job for her. And he'd said, yes, we'll work that out. She'll have a job too. And because it was kind of a package deal. And so it was a serious inquiry. One that we had to think about a lot, and at the end I just could not pull the trigger. And there were some people that I had grown up with who had kids in school at that time, and I thought that might be a hard fit, because you never get into coaching for people to like you. You have to make tough decisions. You have to do that, and I thought that would have been hard as well. So I just felt like at that time it was the best situation for me to stay in Gallatin.
Is that the closest that you've ever came to leaving Gallatin?
Yes, that's
Really?
that's the only real consideration. I've had 3 other job offers while I've been in Gallatin, and that's the closest that I've ever come to leaving at that time. Because listen, I love Warren County. This is home. And people ask me, where's home? To me, this is still home. And I've been in Gallatin going on 32 years now. But, when I come back, there's certain places I go. Marty Powers, a great friend of mine, who I actually met in Van Buren County, one of my best friends. We still talk all the time. I still have a lot of friends here. And,
Marty will name drop you all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He name drop. Yeah, I know Bob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We go back a long ways, and we go back through a lot of situations.
Avoid disaster.
Amen. I think I will. We'll just drive it right there. But yeah, that's the closest I've ever come to leaving. I have a great job in Gallatin. I mean, if anybody has a better job than what I have, and granted, it's good talent. But the school, we are a trendsetter. There are 8 high schools in Sumner County. We were the first school in the United States of America to drug test their athletes. That was done long before I got there. That was Calvin Short. That was our athletic trainer at that time, named Nick Pappas. They had to go to court to be able to do that. It's not a way to catch students. That's not what it's about. We still drug test. It's a way to give our kids a chance to say, hey, no, I can't do that. I'm an athlete. I'm probably going to be drug tested. First one in the country. There are other things that we do in our school that we were the first one to do in our county. This school is unique. We have 3 people in the TWSA Hall of Fame, including a principal, a football coach, and a basketball coach. Those are and there are others that can be in there, and we have another person that we're trying to get in right now. The guy that keeps our book has been doing this for 52 years.
Wow.
Talk about a historian. He is a former Navy SEAL, through football with Fred Biletnikoff at Florida State University. He is Forrest Gump. He went to high school with the Allman Brothers. You name it, he's been there and done that. So we have some great stories. But Gallatin High School is unique. I have the greatest job, and the utmost respect for our administration, the administration in the county. It would be really hard to leave.
Yeah. What year would that have been? Who did we? Wonder who?
It was
Warren
the
County
year I
was
think
with?
Ryan got the job. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
It was
Yes,
the year
that's
that Ryan
correct.
got
Yes,
the job.
that's
Okay.
correct.
I was gonna say I was trying to figure out in that
Yes.
general era. So that'd been
Yes.
right after I was in college.
Okay.
At that point, to do we want to do a C in the future? Is there anything that we want to ask for a C in the future since we are with the Krebs Club?
I think with the C in the future, he's talked about Sumner County. Right. I think you said eight high schools.
Eight public high schools.
Eight public high schools.
Yes.
I've got a sister that's in the Sumner County. I've got a nephew now that basically I think he's going to Hendersonville High School. He's now on the soccer program. All the transfer talk. The state rule comes in, and Sumner County kind of comes out about 3 months ago and says, "Hey, that's a great rule,
right?
But we're going to do it our county way."
Right.
We talked a little bit about before the show. I was interested to hear what you had to say about it. It made a whole lot of sense. Expand on that a little bit.
Well, basically, in Sumner County, and this is statewide. And people are there are a lot of people that think that now everybody can just go to any school they want to. Okay, in Sumner County. We have transfer rules as far as which schools you can go to. Can you go out of zone? You can't just walk in today and say, "Hey, I'm going to go to you live in Nashville and say I'm going to go to Gallatin High School." Well, you don't live in our area. We don't have to take you. We have standard rules that apply in Sumner County. Do we have students that live in the Gallatin zone that might attend Beach or Station Camp or Hendersonville? Absolutely. But they have to go through the process. And, and that's still there. So the school system can decide, why are you transferring? Do you meet the criteria for a transfer? The TWSAA has said, if you can get there, you are eligible. So the only thing that has changed within Sumner County is if the school system grants you the ability to change schools, you're now eligible by the TWSAA. But nothing changed within the county. And that's true of every county. I can't just wake up tomorrow and say, "Hey, I'm going to go to," I could live in Coffee County. I can't say, "Hey, I'm going to enroll in Warren County Schools." Warren County Schools has to accept me. They have to allow me to. What are their rules in place? Maybe their rules are open zone. I think Rutherford County is possibly open zone. They can probably go school to school. I think Wilson County, which is Mount Juliet, Lebanon, Wilson Central, and Green Hill, I think they have a way that they can do that as well. But Sumner County has chosen, and I agree with it, you have to meet the criteria before you can transfer schools. If the school system allows you to transfer, okay, TWSAA says you're eligible one time.
Well, it's a lot. I think we are open enrollment. When we talk about Warren County,
but there, I think with open enrollment, if you're like Bobby says, if let's say I'm a Grundy County kid, to come to Warren County, I do think that there's some criteria you have to meet, and there may be a slight payment that has to be made. That being said, I would like Bobby just brought up a great point in this aspect. You don't hear as much of the nonsense that going on in Sumner County as you do in Rutherford County. Yeah. We're the open zoning.
Right.
Because when there's open zoning, it's kind of like open borders. You just you can just do what you want to. Do you in your situation, you like that your school system has those rules in place?
I do, because it keeps parents and kids from being able to make that jump immediately. You're really going to have to think it out. You're going to have to make sure you go through the process. There are so many opportunities to have a knee-jerk reaction. Hey, I tell my parents at every parent meeting, I've got 20 players on the team. When we tip off our first game, there's going to be 5 in the starting lineup. 15 of you are not going to like me. And if they have that ability to transfer, they could do it right then. I mean, they could literally play in one school on Tuesday night, and if they can get enrolled in the other school and the other school accepts them, the TWSAA says they're eligible as long as it's their first transfer, they could be eligible to play against you on Friday night. It is wild, and I don't think it's a great situation. I don't think the TWSAA is happy about it.
I don't think they're happy about it.
But that came from a higher level that says if you don't allow this, we're going to take over.
The state's going to get involved.
Yes.
That's always bothered me because let's be honest, when we talk about state, we're not going to get in there. We got a lot of things going on with state and local politics, and we'll stay away. But I don't think that I never have liked that state and federal governments get involved in those type of situations.
Right.
You better avoid disaster. In fact, it's time. We need to avoid disaster. And look, as much as I'd love to take over the avoiding disaster, Reed, Trev does it better.
Yeah, he does.
So Connor, do you have a video here? Let's go for it.
Oh, is Trev going to do it?
We're gonna avoid disaster right now here, Trev. Trev, tell us a little bit about avoiding disaster.
Hey, that's brought to you by Adam Wood with Farm Bureau out there in Morrison. Adam does it all when it comes to life insurance. He can't dance, but he can do it all when it comes to
fact.
when it comes to insurance. stop in and see Adam at 6282 Manchester Highway. If you can't stop in, give him a call at 931-668-7075.
All right, again, too, we'll be looking forward to having Trevor Evans back with us in studio, but that was from last week when we had Patty Clark in here.
Patty Clark.
Well, I got to ask, when it comes to a disaster, as a coach, who are the players that you had to avoid that you're like, my goodness, I don't want to see this guy ever again? Because I'm sure that you've seen some talent, both when you were at Warren County and in Gallatin.
I sometimes wonder if the players or the people in Warren County realize a couple of the players that we played against at that time. I want to say it was in the 91-92 season. We played in a Christmas tournament in Coffee County, and we played a team from Hillcrest, South Carolina. They had a young man on their team by the name of Ray Allen. And he had 25 against us. Now, here's the second part of that. Not the player himself, but they also had a young man on the team named David Morant, who would be the father of Ja Morant.
Wow.
David wasn't near as good a player as Ja Morant is, but he had 10 that night. He had double figures, and they were really good. They were very athletic. And I don't know how many people realize that. We also played a player in summer camp. We played a team out of Wheeler, Georgia, and they had a really big point guard and 4 other guys around him that were small. He was 6'11". His name was Sharif Abdur-Rahim. We played him, and again, I don't know if the players in Warren County that played for me knew that, hey, that's who that is. Those are guys that went on and were high draft picks in the NBA. One of them's in the Hall of Fame now. We also, the year we played in Florida, in Jacksonville, the team that was playing before us, East Jefferson, Louisiana, had a player by the name of Neil Reed. Neil Reed is best known for being choked by Bobby Knight, who ended Bobby Knight's career. Now, he was a really good player, but we didn't get to play him, but I sat and watched him play. So for a few years later, I go, wow, I think I remember that guy. Didn't know he was going to go to Indiana and get choked out, but still. So those were some of the best players. I mean, they were great players at Oakland. Gerald King went on and played at Middle Tennessee State University, Philip Case, and Michael Cooey, who had a great career at Belmont. So there were some really good players, and there were some other good players at other spots in the league. But, since I've been at Gallatin, I've been fortunate to play against some good players there as well. We played Brandon Wright when he was at Brentwood Academy. Corey Brewer, just up the road, played at Portland High School. Went on, played at Florida for 3 years before getting drafted, and he's still around the NBA. He's an assistant coach with the New Orleans Pelicans right now. So hopefully one day we'll see him as a head coach. I think he coached their summer league team this year, but he's still around and comes to Sumner County once a year or so and does a free camp for the kids in Portland. It's awesome. John Jenkins was a pretty good scorer. We held him to 60 one night in a game that we won 103-97 in double overtime. But when he came across midcourt, he was a legitimate threat to score. Went on, got drafted late in the first round by the Golden State Warriors. Played Memphis Hamilton in the state tournament one year. They were undefeated, went on to win the state tournament. They beat us by 30 in the first round of the state tournament. They had a couple of pretty good players on that team. One, Sean Williams, that went on and played with the Pacers. So I've been blessed to get to see a lot of good players. We also played against Marvin Stone, who went on to Kentucky and Louisville. He played for Grissom out of Huntsville, so played against him. Just great players, just fortunate, and you see them in high school and you're like, man, this guy's really good. You don't know how good they are, but you're going, he's really good. And then you see him a couple of years later and you're going, do the guys that played against him a few years ago, do they know that's the same guy that we were trying to guard? And, so just awesome to get to play against, those kind of players. And there's a lot of other, Penny Collins that played at Whites Creek. We were fortunate. We beat them on the road to go to the state tournament. That was his last high school game. Went on, had a great career at Belmont, and played a little bit in the NBA. And this has been, coaching basketball. First of all, basketball's taken me all over the United States. I've got to be in arenas, watch Rex Chapman's first ever collegiate game. I was sitting on the bench. They played us the night after we lost to Center College. We went to Lexington, Kentucky to play in Rupp Arena. We lost by 1, by the way. It's like we lost to Center College and then we lost to Kentucky.
Wow.
But so I've been blessed to get to do a lot of those things and to see so many of those good players. And we've had a few good players over the years as well. I had a young man who was 7'2", who went on and played at Mississippi State, who is a great story. Did not make his middle school basketball team at 6'6". Tried out for our team, walked in the door for tryouts on a Saturday for the freshman team. He ducked to get in the door. My assistant coach, Mitch Merriman, standing beside me, said if he's a freshman, he's on the team. He was a freshman. He was 6'9" at that time and never started a game until he was a senior. But just a tremendous success story, and he was on the team that we lost in the finals of the state tournament to Jonathan Lowe and Bartlett. So, just to see so many great players, so many good coaches, I have, most of my friends are from Warren County, this area. I have a lot of friends in Gallatin, but the people that I talk to the most are the coaches that I know. We share so many stories. Troy Allen, great friend of mine who has retired from coaching, coached at Mount Juliet and Green Hill. Just so many, friends that I can pick up the phone, and I think if I needed something, they would come and help me. And and the great thing is also, we have a text thread. Your friends are the people that will support you when you're down, but they'll also keep you in check when you're feeling a little bit too good about yourself. So they will throw you under the bus. And I celebrated at the end of an upset win one night, and it was one of my good friends on the other end. I still get blasted about that. About 3 times a year, I'll have somebody text me and say, and so-and-so, I won't say the name, is still on the other end awaiting the handshake after the game. Wow. They have blasted me about that. I celebrated. I think I made a run across the floor. But
you take your shirt off?
I did not. And everybody's glad. Yes, I did not, and everybody's glad of that. But yeah, so the friends, they'll keep you in check too. So you got to have good friends, and so it's a lot of fun. But coaching basketball for this long, it keeps you young, and it's been a great trip.
They played Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah. Held him to 25.
That's right.
I'm not. I mean, Ray Allen's a villain.
He flicks it pretty well.
Well, he's a villain in my life because I'm a gigantic Spurs fan. Also, too, that Franklin Fisher said you might have coached against Golden Tate at some point. Well, perhaps Golden Tate the third.
He did play freshman basketball when he was at JP2. He did not play any after that. He was a pretty good football player, so he didn't play any. So we did play them in freshman basketball at that time. He was unbelievable athlete. Wasn't quite as good of a basketball player, but he was unbelievable, and he's done a great job. He comes back to JP2 and does some things there every year, and it's good for their school too.
Yeah, I was to say we had that with Price. Price was my high school year. We played him freshman year, and then I think he focused on baseball from there. Then also too, Josh Winfrey. Josh Winfrey's making a bold claim in here. He said we handled Abdul Rahim.
Winfrey said he locked him down.
Handled
I didn't know Winfrey could play D.
We've already in the locked-in segment.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I don't remember exactly if we locked him down or not, but I know he was the biggest point guard I think I'd ever seen at that time.
Okay, you went through,
NBA All-Star
almost 40 years of this.
Yeah.
So back during that time, you didn't have the huddles.
No.
So you're walking in the gym with Jesus Shuttlesworth,
right.
aka Ray Allen. And you're thinking, I've heard he's pretty good, but you didn't have 40 tapes that you could share. At what point in time did you realize that kid's a handful?
Well, after he'd scored about 10 in the first quarter, I think. But the thing was, just talking to coaches, and you're talking about certain players, and of course we didn't play them to the championship game, so they'd already played 2 other games, and so he had already committed to Connecticut at that time at UConn, and I thought, wow, I don't know if he can go and play at UConn, and of course he was the Big East Rookie of the Year, so he's Big East Rookie of the Year, and then I think he was the number 3 overall pick in the draft that year, and I go, I don't think I read that guy right. He had 25. I'd had guys get 25 against us before. His was a quiet 25. I didn't realize how good that 25 was. And lucky that it was only 25.
I'm pretty sure that might have been the year Kobe got drafted too. And Ray Allen was picked in front of him. If not him, Iverson perhaps. Yeah. He didn't know if he'd make it.
I don't know if he'd play for UConn.
I think it turned out pretty well for him. Yeah, that's good. That is quite a list of avoiding disasters. Who's that kid to you when you think back to your time, either in all your coaching, when you were like, Yeah, you immediately. Man, it's gonna be a long
the whole
night.
starting lineup for Cleveland back-to-back years.
Oh,
You know, those kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Mr. Basketball. One of
so we
those.
had some Mr. Basketball type candidates out there. I
Yeah.
mean, but he is right, because I think there's times that you don't realize what that kid's about until about 4 years later, and you're looking up on
Yep.
Saturday morning, and
Yeah.
you know he's the player to watch, and you're going, hey, did we realize how he got 35? But we did a pretty solid job against that kid. One of the best phone calls I ever made was, we talked about one of these kids from Cleveland.
Yeah.
I called Coach Luna that morning.
Oh yeah.
And I said, I had this wild idea that we were just going to let him get all he wanted.
Yeah.
And Coach Luna told me, he goes, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
He'll get
That's
them.
not going to work. I said, okay.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't kind of the Steve Nash thing,
Yeah,
where it's
just-
like, look,
yeah.
we're just going to make him go get 50.
Yeah.
We can't have him get 30 and 20,
Yeah.
which I can understand.
Coach Luna kind
until
of
he
told
said,
me that
he'll get 60.
that's not going to work.
Trevor Evans, Midlothian Cadet, Jacoby Wood, out there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Lauren Hassel's mine. Lauren Hassel,
Yeah, she's pretty good.
we still play her every single year.
Her father's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good on that
Yeah.
one too. Well, we got one more, I think, to wrap
What
it
we
up.
got?
I think we got to do a little bit of McCorkle.
Let's do it.
We got the video ready to go. Connor's giving me that look like he's frantically trying to get it scrambled and ready to roll on that. He just gave me a hold up. Ready a minute.
Yeah, Grayson.
All right, Dad, what'd you get done this week?
Oh man, you're a day early. Good thing we're on pace. Let me show you what we're getting done. So this week we've installed 330 square foot of privacy fence, installed 120 plus trees. Today irrigation is going to be going in, and that'll finalize phase 1. So what do you think of our progress so far?
Things are going to plan. I guess we can move on to phase 2.
And again, if you want to call McCorkle Landscaping, you can 931-212-5174. Again, that's 931-212-5174. McCorkle Landscaping, digging deep to build your dream outdoors. And if you want to have your video ad played on the Warren County Sports Authority, we can obviously do that. Get in touch with us. You can email wcsportsauthority@gmail.com. Coach, you were just saying in the break just a second ago, Roy, so I mean the coaches are going. Do we have is that maybe a random, not so random, but random question you want to ask?
Well,
her?
I
What
think
we got?
the question one of the questions I'm going to have to end it was, Coach Luna. I mean, he's almost been in this 40 years, and like he said, I don't think day one he thought. And Coach Rankin brought it up too. It's hard seeing coaches do this now for 40 years.
Mhm.
They're almost unicorns. I mean, these are guys that's been through this, but when you look back at how this has changed, you went against, it's named after, the gym's named after him in Sparta. Roy Sewell was on the sideline. But now you're kind of that. What are some things you tell young coaches? You probably had some assistants.
Mm-hmm.
You've had some players that's got into coaching. What are some things that you tell coaches that you think that you wish somebody would have told you early on that you had to learn on your own?
Well, I think, the most important thing is realize the importance of what you're doing as a coach. It's much more than coaching basketball, X's and O's. But as a coach, from that part, I think you have to establish, who you are as a coach. You have to, who are you? I think everybody that we play against, 99% of the time, they know we're coming out and we're going to play man-to-man. That's who we are. That's what we can teach. That's what I know. I might use a zone defense as a wrinkle. But you have to have some level of consistency. You have to be able to communicate with players. They have to have an understanding of what you're trying to do. They have to have an understanding of where they fit inside what you're trying to do. Every player, when they come to the gym, they want to know going into that game, hey, this is what I'm going to get. Now, granted, injuries can change that. Foul trouble can change that. Whatever. But I think every player wants to come to the gym and going, hey, I'm probably going to get 10 minutes tonight. This is what I need to do. I'm going to get 30 minutes tonight. This is what I need to do. I've got to be a leader. I need to score some. Every player wants to know what their role is. But I think that comes from coaching is you have to decide who you are as a coach. It's got to fit the standard of where you are coaching at. and the people you're coaching with. And then, you've got to be consistent at it. I think the worst thing you can do as a coach is say one thing one day and then turn around and say something totally opposite the next day. I don't think that's fair to the kids. I don't think that's fair to anybody involved in the program. But I think a young coach coming in is have an identity for your program. What are you trying to do? What are you looking for? What results are you wanting to get out of this? And, and just be consistent with it. It's great to adjust. I mean, everything that we do, you talked about Coach Sewell just a moment ago. Coach Sewell ran a baseline out of bounds, or a press offensive baseline out of bounds full court that I still run to this day. I guarantee you, if I tell the players of Warren County, I say, hey, we're in press O right here, we're running home run, they know what we're running. Well, I got that from Coach Sewell at White County. We still run it today in Gallatin, and it's very successful. So you're gonna beg, you're gonna borrow, you're gonna get all the things you want to know from other coaches, but adapt. Don't just adopt them. Make them fit what you do, and be consistent.
I don't even do I have another question right now. Yeah, I do actually have my McCorkle landscaping question. This again, we say it's random, but it's not really random because you brought it up a second ago. Tell me about what it's like being in that state championship game.
It's an unbelievable feeling to get there because you strive so hard to get there. We were fortunate. We went to the state tournament in 2000, which our girls team had won the state championship in 1999 with a really good team coached by Kim Kendrick. We went to the state tournament in 2000. We started 5 seniors on that team, but we graduated 8 seniors. We came back the next year with a team that had played JV the entire year before, but they did have a 7-footer on there. We made it to the finals of the state tournament. We lost by 2. We actually hit a shot with about 12 seconds to go that we thought was going to be an and one to put us up 1, shooting a free throw, but an official from our district came in and called a travel. So I'm trying to our kids are celebrating thinking we're going to the free throw line. But anyway, the thing I remember about it, when we were getting ready to play, Ronnie Carter and Gene Manise come out before the game was tipped off. Hubie Smith was coaching Bartlett, and he had been the only coach that Bartlett had at that time. And they come out before we do the pregame meeting, and Mr. Carter and Mr. Manise said, hey, you're never guaranteed to get back here again. You need to look around and you need to take this in. And they're right. I know a couple of coaches who got there in their very first year of coaching and never got there again. It's been a few years since we've been back to the state tournament. We were fortunate to go 3 times. We've made it to the sub-state 2 other times. But you're not guaranteed to get there. The team that went to the finals of the state tournament, we won 3 games in overtime on the way, including the first round of the state tournament. We won a double overtime game that year. So it's awesome. It's awesome for your entire student body, for your kids, for your community. It's a great feeling. I think sometimes as coaches, we probably don't look around and enjoy it enough because you just don't know if you're ever going to get the opportunity to get back there.
That's tremendous. That travel.
That
It
travel.
still sticks with them too. Do you want to jump in here? Do you have any questions for Sullins? You want to put him on the spot?
Yeah.
Go, please, by all means.
Yeah, I'll put him on. I will put him on the spot. I know you had a really good team and had a great run of success. Because I watched your Siegel game on YouTube. We were finished. You're playing your sectional game at Siegel. What was the time that you felt like, or which team, and it might have been that one, was it that you felt like there was the most pressure on the coaches to not mess it up? Because sometimes you have good talent. Hey, we should achieve at this level. Is there pressure in doing that?
Yeah, no doubt. I think,
or is it all joy?
We had talked. Now you know this. Yep. Warren County hadn't had a lot of success. You had been as successful as anybody. You were the standard bearer. Doug had come in for a couple years, but they were averaging about 12 wins a year. We tried to get it to a level where there was some respectability and we'd be competitive. Our first region win when we go on the road at Walker Valley. That's at Walker Valley, and we have a great, this. Yep. Everybody, Warren County travels well, but it's Walker Valley. That's it's a long way to go. Yep. I don't even think a lot of people knew we won until it was in the paper. But the nights that you're the number 1 seed in the region, and you're playing that 4 seed, and they're coming over here, and you're going, man, if we screw this up, it's going to be bad. Those are the nights that you're thinking there's a lot of pressure, and you want to get off to a good start because anytime you're that underdog, Well, that underdog wants to just stick around about 4 minutes. And that pressure burger comes to you. So we tried to make sure we put teams away early, and I thought we did a pretty good job of that. The year that CJ and those guys were juniors, we knew how we went like on a 12 or 13 game winning streak, but we're in the semifinals of the district against Stone Memorial. And you got teams. You just talked about with Coach Jones with Beach. Those are teams that you struggle no matter what.
Right.
I always struggled against Neal Caps. And we're down 8 in the third or fourth quarter, and you're going, I got the best team in the district, and I'm looking like an idiot. We're down 8. We got to turn something around. Fortunate enough to do that. Also, and you know this, and I've always wanted to ask you this about your first year. You want to be successful. I was kind of the same way. We played pretty well, but then the losses started mounting. And when you're walking in the Dalt, and just like you with Gallatin, there's a lot of people and the eyeballs on you because you're not playing well, and they're the voices. Does that still bother you? Or are you you've done this for so long that doesn't get to you anymore? Because I remember when I'm 0-8 in the district going, I told people we were going to win, and we flat out are not doing that right now.
I think this is the best way to describe it as a coach, and especially doing it this long. No one puts more pressure on me than I do.
Agree.
So therefore, what anybody else could say is irrelevant. I can assure you that every game that you lose, somebody's unhappy.
Agree.
There's a mom, a grandma, a dad. Somebody is unhappy. I know that our gym. I call it quaint. I mean our bench backs up to the bleachers. There are people sitting 2 rows behind me, and as hard as this may sound, because I heard what Coach Rankin said, I literally don't hear them. And I hope, and I think it's because I'm so focused on what's going on the floor that I have been able to tune it out. I will give one funny story, and I'll try to be quick. I know we're long on time. Coaching Coffee County. Boy, they come up a lot. We're playing at Coffee County one night, all right? And this is, I hadn't been coached that long. But anyway, Coffee County was playing a lot of zone at that time. We were much better playing against teams playing man-to-man. They were playing a lot of zone at that time. So we got up, maybe early in the third quarter, we're up about 8, and old Coach Luna, being the smart guy he is, says, I believe we're going to pull it and make y'all come back. Well, it's third quarter. And they said, we ain't coming out. So we stood there a couple of minutes, 2, maybe 3, and there's a lady, Warren County fan, sitting behind the bench. And she says, Coach Luna, didn't nobody come down here to see y'all hold the ball? You need to play. Coach Robinson says, I wouldn't turn around if I was you. I said, time out. Let's talk about this just a minute. So, just said, nobody paid to see you stand and do this. Y'all need to play. You might be right.
Josh Winfrey in the Bill on the Connect message
He
board
remembers
says,
it.
The stall.
I wonder if it was
I don't think he's talking about a bathroom.
No, I wonder if it was Winfrey's mom.
Coach, we really appreciate you coming in. We're gonna go. We're gonna get to presenting sponsor Prater's Barbecue 635-2259. I'm gonna go get some food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, too, Coach, appreciate you.
We're gonna make some guys out there too.
Oh, we are. All right. Well, there you go. I want to say one thing to all the audience right now. Thanks for sticking with us. Connor and I have been messaging throughout the show. If we had a little bit of technical difficulty, we apologize for that. You will be able to go on YouTube tomorrow if you want to watch the full show from beginning to end. We will reload it, make sure that you can catch everything there. But if there was any technical difficulties, we apologize on our end. We'll be better because, hey, we're always trying to get better here on the Warren County Sports Authority. For Coach Chris Sullins, I am Joe Simmons. Again, Coach
Thank you.
Bobby Looney. Thank you, Bobby Looney. I'm messing his name up.
It's
Trying to
okay.
get out of here.
Okay.
I'm hungry. But thank you so much.
Glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and that is a Gallatin G, not a Green Bay G for the people that were in the comment section. I don't know if they knew that or not.
No, I don't think they
I
did.
actually don't think they did because they asked him about
football
how he thought his football team would do.
Yep.
We'll be back next week with Jimmy Walker.
Well, I'm feeling kind of squirrely. I'm sitting on go. I'm